Over to you.
Thank you so much, Manoj, and a very good evening to all of you. Good afternoon, sorry. And let me share my screen, and I'll start from here.
I think someone is not on mute, so I would request people to be on mute. Thank you. Yeah, go
So,
ahead, Neha.
Manoj,
Yeah.
if you option, the option share.
Sorry. I will stop sharing and then you can share now. Yeah.
Yes, that is correct.
Hello.
So, I hope mine is visible. Yes, is somebody
Yes,
saying
sir.
something?
Yes, Neha, I think your voice is breaking a bit.
Okay. So, what I will just turn off my
Yeah,
camera
I think
and
Neha, I think your voice is breaking. It's not able to hear properly.
so I just turn off the camera. Just give me a second. Is it better now?
Yes, yes.
Yes, it is.
All right. So I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let's start the session. So you've got a brief about what all we are going to cover today. It's going to be very enriching and knowledgeable for everybody. We'll come to know everything end to end about ONDC and what all Plotch is offering. You as a participant, be it a buyer app, seller app, as a logistics partner, or in any way if you're related to ONDC or you're willing to participate in ONDC, exactly what is the scope. So it's going to be a very interesting journey today. So let's start. So before we start, I just wanted to give some details about, for whom is ONDC. I'm sure that, most of the people who are participating today, they are already into it and they are thinking about, how to start, or probably they're at some point in their journey. So it's for everybody, right? So it's for small enterprises, it's for large corporates. We know there are lots of large banks, large enterprises who are already participating, who are live on the network. But it's not just for them, it's for any company, any enterprise, any entity who is at any scale, right? So there is scope for everybody. So that's the good news for everyone. Yes, there is. So again, there are lots of categories which are already live here on the network, and there are a lot which are opening up. So again, a lot of scope, and it's not just B2C. It is also for business to business. That is already there now. It's live on the network, and so again, both B2B, B2C, everybody has a lot here on the network, right? So that is there. Then plus there are it's there for all sorts of services. NDC is beneficial for anybody who's in technology, legal, accounting, compliance, etc. Moving forward, basically this just gives you a brief about where are we right now in terms of the e-commerce landscape which is there existing in India. Currently, the penetration of e-retail is very small. It's approximately 4.5%, right? So which actually decodes into the fact that we have a lot of scope. There is a lot to be done, right? So we are far behind a lot of other countries who have gone much ahead as far as this e-commerce penetration is concerned, right? So what were the challenges that we were facing so far, right? So let's look at that without going too much into detail. Whoever has done e-commerce before would know that when you are dealing with a single platform, right? So what happens is there's over dependability. A lot of operations, marketing, logistics, all of that is actually taken care by a single entity. So that is one of the challenges that we had, right? Plus, uh, in some ways, what happens that there is some sort of monopoly which comes into play, and which leads to higher margins, which is expected by these platforms, a lot of things add up. Like they would not just be commission, they would be, separate logistics charge, which it's not like, you can negotiate. So these are standardized charges which you have to bear, etc. Again, that becomes a big challenge because, of course, logistics in e-commerce, we know that it's a very significant percentage of overall cost, right? So that is there. Then, of course, it so traditionally it has not been there like what we see today in ONDC. There is like any buyer app can have products from different seller apps, right? So there is traditionally it used to be like, okay, you want to sell on XYZ platform, you have to register with them, you have to upload your products with them. If you go to the platform B, you have to again do the same thing. So it was, you of course could not do this kind of interoperability which ONDC is offering you right now, right? That is again a challenge that we used to face initially. And also, in a country like India where there's so much diversity, to have like a population scale adoption was a challenge, right? So these were some of the key challenges that we used to have, which ONDC has solved broadly in a, to a very large extent, in terms of the plan, the way they are functioning, the way they are operating, the way they have brought people and participants together to make things happen. So these are the some of the solutions that we will see coming into picture, and already a lot has been done, a lot has been achieved. In fact, we will see some of the numbers right after this to see where we are right now. Okay. So if you see some of the plus or the benefits or the positive changes that ONDC has brought about, is that it's no longer something which is controlled by a single entity, right? It's a network, as the term suggests, that there are various people who are connected to each other and taking care of this entire piece, right? So there are different sellers, there are different seller aggregators, there are logistics partners, there are different people taking care of this single transaction that will happen there. So there is no one single entity who is responsible for that, right? So that's a big plus. Besides this, of course, we spoke about these factors like, irrespective of your size, location, or even digital proficiency. I would like to underline this digital proficiency. Why? Because we used to see initially that, it was a big challenge that if somebody was not from e-commerce background and they had never had an experience of selling online, for them it was a big barrier. So a lot of initiatives are being taken by ONDC in terms of the training that they are providing, in terms of the partners who are coming together to enable these sellers who might not have ever dealt in e-commerce before, but they are slowly transitioning and they are able to do it in a seamless way, right? So that's again a big plus. Also, we see that, of course, at a population scale, we are seeing that there is energy which is converging and everybody is coming together to make it happen. So if you look at where we are right now, we've come a long way. If you see in July, the kind of numbers we were doing, it was around 1 million per month. It was in July 2023. In December, on the ONDC network, we clocked 5.5 million, right, orders. So you see that progress is huge, right? And it is really very positive and very encouraging for everybody. And there's a lot that all of you can together come together and make it happen. And as you know, Plotch is the TSP. We are the technology service providers. So we provide a lot of different services together in a basket, and we do majority of the tech related heavy lifting for you to make things easy and seamless. So without taking more time, I'll now give it to Vinod from Plotch, who would take us through what is seller app offering that we have. And if you want to join the network as a seller app, exactly, what all is required, how quickly you can go live, etc. We'll start from there. So I'll just stop sharing my screen now.
Acha, just Neha, to add, I think some folks may not be aware of what seller app and buyer app is. So
Oh,
ONDC, as you know, it's a network. It's a two-sided network. One side of the network, you have a lot of buyer apps. Another side, you have a lot of seller apps. Buyer apps bring traffic into the network, and seller apps bring supply into the network. So first demo is primarily, is a seller app demo. With basically where you will see, the catalog upload, the seller onboarding, seller inventory management, and bunch of other things, which, the team will show. So that basically is what Vinod is now going to present, is the seller app side, which basically, around supply and catalog. Yeah. So Vinod, do you want to take it ahead?
Oh, yes, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Is it my screen is visible?
Yes, Vinod.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Plotch is
Your voice is
ODC a
breaking
great
for me. I don't
infrastructure.
know. I don't know if it's true for others, but your voice is breaking.
Yeah, Vinod.
Now it's clear. Hello?
Yeah, you're audible.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, Vinod, you're audible. You can say.
Yeah,
So
Plotch
basically,
ONDC is
yeah,
related
yeah.
Yeah.
seller app. ONDC certified, like we have a quick go live within few weeks with our ONDC certified stack, including RSP and IGM support. And we have ISN support model and MSN support model both we have, where you can manage all these sellers at one place. And we also support multi categories, support all insurance categories, including and food and beverages, fashion categories, electronic categories as well. And we have promotion option as well. Features also we have in buyer apps.
Vinod, let
Payments
me
also
take
we
over.
can manage.
Yeah, let me take over this.
Yeah.
Basically, we as a seller app like ONDC retail infrastructure for seller app, can you go to the first slide itself, Vinod, please? The previous one. Yeah. We have basically it's the ONDC certified tech stack, and RSF is reconciliation service framework where the settlement from buyer app to seller app happens between the network. So that's the full form of RSF. And IGM is issue and grievance management, where a customer, if they have any issue with the product or the delivery, they can raise a ticket through IGM, and it comes to the buyer app. So again, there is a demo for the same, which will give you more insight how it works. And coming to ISN, so ISN is basically inventory seller network, and MSN is multi-seller network, or you can also say as marketplace seller network. So these are the two solutions for seller app where they can come here into the network. And for multi-category, as multi-category for e-retailing like food and beverages, fashion, groceries, all these categories are enabled over here. And of course, insurance, health, marine, motor insurance, everything is going to come, which is in pipeline right now. Now for promotions for seller app also, there are a lot of promotions that they can run and plan a strategy with buyer apps, and that's how they can promote their products on ONDC network. You can go to the next slide. Yeah. So payments, so as I said, that payment, which is for reconciliation, which happens from buyer app to seller app. So we have all the infrastructure set up, which is just to plug and use. It's just very little integration that is required, which is done by us. And again, compliance. So if there is any IGM, as I said, any compliance issue, where buyer app has, if seller app has any issue regarding the payment or something, even that they can raise a ticket. So this is how it is handled in compliance. And then fintech is again, it is in pipeline, which is coming into the network. And PG is payment gateway of basically, which is being used for collecting payments for the buyer, right? So I think, Vinod, you can start with the demo. What we'll do is we'll show you the seller journey, how the seller registers and then subscribe to marketplace, and how the product upload is done. Yeah, Vinod, over to you.
Yes, sir. So this is the Plotch backend panel. It's completely a white label solution from our end,
Uh,
and we have,
Vinod, your
we
screen
have
is not visible. Your presentation is visible. I think you have to reshare your screen. Yeah, it is visible now.
yeah. So this is a Plotch backend panel. This is completely a white label solution from our end, and we are going to provide the login credential as well. So marketplace is a multi-seller seller where he can onboard multiple sellers, and we can see how a registration can be done as, for example, a market seller, multi-vendor seller can onboard multiple sellers. So how register will be done? So we can go to a registration first, where he can fill the email ID and mobile number and then click on the checkbox, and they can register themselves. Once they register themselves, they will directly, they can log in themselves, and they will come to our dashboard where they can see all the information like yesterday orders, yesterday revenue, and all kind of stuff they can view. And and they have to fulfill the seller profile. So in seller profile, they have to fill the basic details like the name of the store, email ID, and primary mobile number, email ID, contact details. And if they have a logo, they can also upload signatures, billing address and delivery address, and the pickup address. They have to fulfill the details and bank details as well. Here you can also update the bank details and the other information details as well. Once this is filled, the seller can go to a available marketplace where as a seller, he can subscribe to a aggregator. So once he subscribed to aggregator, the request will be generated on the admin panel itself. So once he subscribed, so he has to fill the seller profile details like marketplace shop, and this is also select the router and can subscribe now. Once he subscribe, he can go to a manage marketplace subscription where admin can approve. Here admin can receive the request from the seller, and he will, as an aggregator, he will approve the subscription. Once he approve the subscription, he has a both options. He can also reject and he can also approve. Once he approve, he can also update the category. What he can also update the category, assign the category. So here we have provided multiple selection options. Once he, sorry, uh, one, once he assign the category, the seller can upload products. So this is a seller account, so we can log in.
Vinod, your screen is not visible for seller login. Yeah,
Yeah.
now visible.
So once the seller login to the his backend panel, so he will also straightforward come to our dashboard where he can also see the overall information like yesterday orders, revenue, and this month order and revenue. He can directly go to a products option where he can upload single products.
So here the seller can upload single and bulk products. And basically, this is how a seller is first got registered on seller app, okay, to a marketplace, which Vinod showed. And post that, the marketplace admin has given assigned the categories to that particular seller, and now seller has access to upload the products. So the seller can only upload the products which the category has been assigned to them. So here the bulk upload product, you can upload like 500,000, 5,000. So there is no limit as such over here. Yeah, Vinod.
So as a single product, you have to choose the category, which category product you want to upload. For example, I'll choose a men's watches, and you have an option to upload maximum 5 images of the particular product.
So there are few mandatory fields that needs to be filled while uploading the products, like country of origin. Then you can see product name, brand name, and one image is compulsory. Rest of the images are optional over here. So HSN code,
Once
all
these
these details are there. Yeah, please go ahead.
once you fill all these details, you have an option to add the product. But in case if you miss anything to fill the details, you have an option to edit particular product, and you can fill those details as well. Here we have an option to edit the product.
So basically, ONDC has given guidelines related to different categories and what are the mandatory attributes, which are the mandatory features which the seller is supposed to upload along with the product. So what Plotch offers is it's a pre-designed kind of a template where which are the mandatory features, they are already marked. So as a seller, you just have to ensure that all those details are filled in to have a seamless experience. Yeah, over to you, Vinod.
Yes, here we have an option to edit the product. You can edit and you can update the data, whatever you have missed. Even we have a bulk uploading options where you can also do a bulk uploading. Here you can download the template file of the Excel and you can upload at a time 500 or 1000.
So both the options are available, right, Vinod? We have a single upload option
Yes,
as well, and we have a bulk upload option, where if there are multiple products, you can do it in one go by filling up the details in the Excel and then uploading it, right?
yes.
So this is the complete uploaded products which has been accepted by the seller app. Here you can see the option is completed. Vinod, we can go to the inventory, update inventory.
Can we ask a question?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so like if the seller uploads a wrong category, is there a detection mechanism?
Yeah, so seller will, while uploading the product, they will get error itself. They will get an error that particular category, and also there is a compliance check over here where admin can see that whether this product is actually linked to the particular category itself or not. So there is a compliance checker we have before approving the product, the catalog.
Okay, so some sort of AI kind of thing, is it?
And
Not
even if like it's a wrong category in which it has been uploaded, there is a provision for fixing that by overwriting the category at a later stage.
Okay, sorry, is there any connector for ERP and CRM so that we can connect our product directly in the catalog?
so yes, we have an we
चाय
actually
दीजिए
provide.
नॉर्मल चाय मसाला
Yeah.
चाय थोड़ा शुगर कम देना ठीक है
Sorry, can someone
बिस्किट
mute?
बिस्किट है क्या दो आदमी के लिए लेके
Sorry, there is some over talking. Can you please mute yourself? Thanks. Yeah, so we actually provide a middle layer APIs. So it is certified APIs of ONDC that we provide, which can be integrated with your ERP.
It's a REST API, I think so, right?
Sorry?
It's a REST API.
Uh, I need to check. So can you?
So I'll tell you a little bit about that, right? So basically, we provide APIs so that your ERPs can connect to our ERP seamlessly. So there are about 25 APIs that we have published, whether it in related to creating a product, whether it's related to updating the inventory, or pushing your orders, getting the status of the order. We have also payment APIs, so you can request payment and create payment. Those APIs also there. So all these are REST APIs. That is true. And when we have basically some of our clients have used these APIs to connect their ERPs with us, with our ERP. So their sellers and their products and their orders actually and status updates, everything is happening in their ERP. And sellers, are connected through their ERP, through APIs, through our, infrastructure and into the ONDC network. That's how it works. We are happy to walk you through the APIs if you have interest. Maybe we can do a separate session on that one. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Sorry, one question from my end. Neha, you mentioned about the mandatory fields that are present in the product catalog upload page, right? So do these fields differ by category? Like, for example, some fields might be mandatory in one category, but not necessarily relevant for other categories, right?
Absolutely
So
correct.
Neha, what we can do is I'm cutting you short, but we can show compliance checker, because I think a lot of questions will get answered. If we show that. Because we
Okay.
have a
Yeah.
very rich compliance checker which checks the compliance of each product before it is pushed into the ONDC network.
Sure. So once Vinod is through, I will share my screen and I will show how it functions. Till the time, I'll just log in.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Vinod, you can continue with this inventory you were showing.
Here only you can manage the inventory, or else we have a bulk inventory option as well, where you can also you know download the inventory options, and you can do bulk in bulk. You can upload the inventory as well. So here we
Yeah.
have our options where you can do a bulk upload option.
Your screen is not visible for bulk. The second one.
So is it
Yeah.
visible? Here you
Yeah.
have an option to bulk upload.
No, it is still not visible, Vinod. Yeah.
So here you have an option to, you can upload the inventory in bulk. You have to download the sample file, and you can upload. You can choose whether you want to, upload by PSN or vendor SKU. PSN our system can generate, which is a unique number, and vendor SKU also option is available. You can upload your inventory as well.
Yeah.
Once the
So
inventory is uploaded, and you have an option to, you can go to a product section, and then you can push your products to subscribe marketplace. I mean, to
so
the
so
admin
basically,
account.
so basically, once the product is uploaded, the inventory is updated, then you can push the products to the seller app whom you have subscribed to. So here you can select in bulk, and then you can select an option. Vinod, can you show that? Yeah. You can go in actions,
Yeah.
and over here you will see.
You can go to action, push to marketplace catalog. Here you have options marketplace shop,
So
which you have subscribed,
yeah. So basically,
and
here you
here
will
you
see
can
your seller app. The seller app that you have subscribed, it will come here as that you can now push the particular catalog. Yeah.
yeah.
Now moving to
Once
next.
you have pushed
Yeah.
the catalog, Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, moving to next, we can show Vinod how the order processing happens. So you can go in orders. Yeah. So here, all the orders that particular seller has received can be seen here, and they can click on particular order and view the customer details and everything, and the order that they have received for that particular product. So your customer address, name, email ID, and your real-time order status also gets updated, whether it is dispatched, whether it is in processing, whether it is delivered. And here you can see the price of the product and the product image. And if in case, suppose the seller have multiple orders over here, so we also have a shipment splitter where he can dispatch partial shipment, one product now, and maybe after a couple of days, if you want to dispatch second one, then even that is available. Yeah. So once they accept the order, Vinod, you can then proceed for that. Yeah.
Yeah, they can go to a shipment section where they have to upload the tracking details. So currently, we are doing manually, but we have an option to integrate with courier partners. So you can choose the courier partner from here. If name is not listed over here, you can add from here courier partner. So I'll choose the DTDC and I'll update the tracking details manually. I can save the detail. Before saving the detail, you can also upload the packing slip, which courier person will give you. You can upload over here and you can save the data. Once the detail has been saved, you can click the checkbox and go to action. You can update the status from here. Whatever the status is, whether it's picked up, whether it's dispatched, whether it's delivered, you can update manually. For example, I'm updating delivered. You can update the status. The status has been updated delivered.
Yeah. So this is how the complete seller app and seller journey is being done, from registration to product upload, inventory upload, and after that, how the order gets processed over here. So this is the
Yeah,
complete journey. Yeah,
I have one question out here. Hi, myself Rajiv at the side,
yeah,
and
Rajiv.
now this order has been received by the seller,
Yeah,
right? So the inventory should get automatically minus from
yes,
his inventory hub, right? So
yes,
how to check the current inventory level? How to check the current inventory level of the seller? How he can check
yeah,
his current inventory level?
yeah. So that's how. Vinod, can you go to inventory? So here he can see real-time inventory by going in inventory for that particular product. They can see over here. So there is an option where they upload the inventory, update the inventory, and same place they can see what's the inventory of that particular product here. You can see. So they can search for that particular catalog also, and here they can see the inventory. You can see current stock.
It's all zero.
No, this is dummy, hence it is 0. You can do we have any? Yeah. So basically here it can be seen.
So he has to select the this thing, and then he has to go to the product V1 category, product V1, right? There he can see the inventory level.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Wait,
because
one.
some cases,
uh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
So
because
one
I've been
question on the
doing this,
order.
but my sellers are
Sorry, you can.
uh, no.
Yeah, Raju.
I'll tell you, because in my case, what is happening, the sellers are not able to see the whatever the stocks they have loaded, that stock level, even after the receiving the orders and processing the orders, that stock level only is being visible on this part.
Rajiv, you can write to us. So I think we'll provide you with the email ID and we can like discuss on a separate call and take your query
Yeah, that
because
would be
we need to,
better.
yeah, because
That
we need to check, yeah, because we need to check that what's happening. So
yeah.
yeah, thank you.
Okay.
A question on
Tarun,
and part.
Yeah,
So you had showed that the various stages of the order, right? Right from like received by the by the seller, accepted by the seller to delivered, right? So who is responsible for updating it at each stage? Right? Because each step would be handled by different participant, right?
right,
Initially seller, then it would be the logistics partner, then
right.
the confirmation. So how will that be done?
Yeah, so right now what we have shown you was a self-ship option, which a seller has done. Now, if you have any logistic partner integrated, so of course they will provide you with the logistic, the pickup number, right? So once they accept, they get the intimation, and when they pick up, they update it on their system, right? Suppose I'll give you an example of a delivery. So once they update on their system, we already have an integration, so it gets synced with their system. So whenever they update the status on their system, it gets updated here. It's automated.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah.
So if we are through
And
with these questions, then probably whenever you say Tarun, I
yeah,
can quickly
uh,
share
Tarun, I
client.
have a question.
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
At a point, the seller selected the logistics service provider, to arrange for a pickup of the order. Now, as a TSP, do you also have arrangements with the, let's say, the payments gateway or the logistics service provider, or you're providing the stack, whoever is the seller app, the aggregator, right? The business who is onboarding retailers, they
mhm.
need to bring in these partners, and all you will do is help integrate with the APIs.
For payment gateway, we already have an integration with CC Avenue, then PayU, and couple of more payment gateways. And in if I talk about logistics side, we have 17 plus logistic partners integration already with us. So you just have to provide us the keys, and we get it integrated. You just have
Now,
to
what
open
about
the
the
account with us.
commercial arrangements, Tarun?
Yeah, so commercial with your logistic partner is been handled by the seller app itself, and for payment gateway, buyer has to do it. So we are just a tech provider, technology service provider.
Got it.
We
Yeah,
don't,
thanks
yeah,
for that,
we don't
Rajiv.
get involvement in any operations. Yeah,
Got it. Thank you.
yeah.
I think Pareen
So yeah,
has raised her hand. Pareen and
yes, Parin.
Tarun, one question on the payments gateway. So you said that the payments gateway is for the buyer app. So
Yeah.
is it possible for the seller app to directly collect the payment when the customer places the order? I think that's mentioned in the ONDC network policy, but wanted to understand how that
Yes.
works out.
So basically, it is COD, cash on delivery, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so COD is right now not enabled on ONDC, but yes, it is going to come soon. I currently don't have the timeline, so otherwise I would have told you.
But even if it's COD, then let's assume that there's a logistics partner involved. Then the collection would be
It's from the to the logistic partner.
logistics partner, right?
Yeah.
So my question is like, is it possible that whenever a customer orders for something on the buyer app, the payment instead of going to the nodal account of buyer app goes to the seller accounts? Uh,
On No, currently it is not there in ONDC. That is not possible. Payment has been collected by buyer app itself.
okay, got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Praveen, one more question regarding that logistic partner. As you said, for this thing, if right now we are doing whatever you've shown is a manual process, right?
Yeah.
Once we integrate the logistic partner, so it all automates. It goes all automatic, right?
Yeah.
So is it possible for a particular seller to integrate the logistic partner? how
So
the logistic partner will be integrated with the particular seller, or is it the seller app has to this integrate their own account, and then the hubs will be how the
yeah,
hubs would be
Shall
assigned?
I take this question, Tarun? Is it
yeah,
fine?
yeah, sure, Neha.
Okay, so basically, in Plotch, there are three options available to you as far as the management of logistics is concerned. Uh, there is a possibility that if suppose the seller app doesn't want to have any account of their own with logistics and they want the sellers to take care of the logistics themselves, sellers are free to create accounts, suppose with the Shopify or Delivery or any of the logistics partners which are already integrated in Plotch system. They can have an account with them. Sellers can have a direct account with them. Those keys will be inserted in their seller accounts, and they will seamlessly start generating shipments from their own account. Okay, that is the first
Oh,
case. Yeah, yeah. Questions related to that, please carry on. You can ask.
yeah. So, like the seller already has a, Shopify account. Already has a
Mhm.
Shopify account. He needs to how he needs to approach and how he needs to get the things integrated in his account.
So basically, you talk about Ship Rocket account, is it? Or you saying Shopify account?
Yeah, supposedly Shopify or Shiprocket, any one of them.
Let's take an example of Shiprocket. They are the logistics providers. So in that case, they will have an account. They will have certain keys. They have specific unique keys which we just insert in their
Hmm.
account, and that is only in their
Okay.
account that they can use it. So it will not be accessible to any other
Okay.
seller or any seller app that they are dealing with. It will be only and only limited to their own account.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, because one of my seller, they already have this thing, Shopify account, and they want to integrate it. So, I would like to get connected with somebody so that
Mhm.
we can get his account integrated.
Sure, sure, sure. We'll take it up separately and we'll discuss what are the possibilities,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
this can be
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Done.
So
Done. Thank
just
you.
to tell
Thank
you,
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks. So basically, for everybody's interest, so one way is that the seller can have their own logistics account, or seller app can have a common logistics account which they would want all the sellers to use. Why this will be important is because going forward, once we have COD fully operational on the network, then the seller apps would want to have the COD collection by themselves, right? They would not want that all the sellers using different logistics partners collecting payments individually and then the payment is flowing via these different separate sellers. So that's not the ideal scenario, right? So in that case, we have this a second option where the seller app can have their own logistics account and they can ask the sellers to use it, right? The third, of course, is manual shipments, where which is very effective when it comes to prepaid orders, right? So because already the payment has been done and it's just the delivery part which has to be taken care of, and especially for hyper local businesses, plus where they have people have runners for deliveries and things like, and such cases, the third option of manual shipment is very effective. Not just that, even because in cases of prepaid orders, uh, anybody who's using even any local couriers, small time couriers, unorganized setups who are taking care of deliveries, even in such scenarios, the manual option comes in very handy for people. So these are the three different ways in which logistics can be managed. Yeah, over to you, Tar.
Yeah, thanks, Neha. Yeah, Santosh, you have question? Mona, I think you have also raised your hand. Any questions, please?
Yes, I posted a question in the chat. Who are the seller apps that are currently using your platform?
So seller app, we have Paytm, we have Idea Master, we have Blue Star, who has come here as an inventory seller model, and we have Snapdeal. So quite a few more who are there with us.
Okay. So Tarun, can I connect with you to understand who are the seller apps who are connected with you, and discuss more from where I'm coming. I'm representing a company called Axion today. Yeah.
Sure, Mona. I'll by end of this session, I'll give my mobile number and my email ID, so you can just write to me.
Sure. Thanks, Tarun.
Thanks. Yeah, Santosh, you have question?
Yes, Tarun, I have a question. Um, it's a B2B architecture, right?
It is B2C, and also we are coming up with B2B.
So when the give the session for B2B?
For the demo of B2B,
Yeah.
yeah. So again, you can just write to me. I'll arrange a separate demo for B2B also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Understood.
Thank you. Yeah. Any further questions?
Yeah, I have a question on the log checking. So basically, once the products have been uploaded, how is the quality of the catalog check? For example, long, short description, image, and all.
Yeah. So once the product is uploaded, the seller then push it to the seller app. Then seller app over there, they have an option where they can accept and reject. At that phase, at that time, they can check the quality of that particular catalog.
Okay,
Okay,
and
let me share my screen. So I would like to show exactly how the health checker works, because we understand it's a big issue, because once you have hundreds of sellers, right, and although you would have given them clear details of what all information has to be filled up, etc., still there would be scenarios where you'll have sellers filling up incomplete details and still uploading, and then they would not know how and why their products are not showing up and things like that. So for that, we came up with a solution. There's a tool that we created. Let me share my screen. Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, great. So here basically it's like a test of your sellers, because what you can do is you can add the vendor ID and you can do a check of the health of the catalog that they have uploaded, right? So what happens is, suppose this is a specific seller where they had almost 299 products, and they have got MC score and MI score of 100. Let's see what exactly it is. Want to deep dive and see. So here what we see is, product wise, this tool is going to give you an overview of exactly what all mandatory attributes which are actually given by ONDC. Also, there are certain laws of the land that you have to provide that information. There's certain e-commerce rules that those details have to be there. Considering everything, we have made it easy for people to know that these are some of the mandatory information that you have to put in here, and if they have not put in, then this tool is going to help them resolve the challenge without them wasting time and doing guesswork and going through their sheets multiple times. That is not required. You can run the report, you can check what all have they filled in, what all have they not filled in. So let me just take a case where they have got lesser score. Okay, so here we can see that it's 80%. It's not 100%. Let's see what is the reason. Okay, see, this seller has not filled in manufacturer FSSAI number. I hope all of you can see, right? What was the reason for the failure? It is manufacturer FSSAI number. So basically, this entire setup has been done by us, where for seller app, whatever different categories, there are so many categories, right? For all the categories, whichever are the mandatory attributes, they are preset in the rules. And as per those rules, this compliance tool checker, it goes through the complete information, respective of how huge your catalog, catalog is. It could be any number. It checks everything, and it gives you a complete picture of what is happening with the catalog, how is the health, and you can keep a complete control over the health of your catalog, and you would know which seller is doing a good job, etc. And you can accordingly take actions. Also provide training if we feel that there are gaps, right? So yeah.
Neha,
Any questions?
just a follow-up on this. So, like you said that there are preset rules by category, right? So, like, how can we, like, how do we know what are these rules for each category? Right? Because we can imagine like each of the category has different fields, so it will be helpful to get that understanding.
Yes. So we have created complete documents related to all the categories, and that we share with our clients. Once they get onboarded, we share the complete document. They have an overview of which category, which are the mandatory attributes. It's all ready to access, ready to use.
Understood. Got it.
I just have a follow-up question on that. So, does this tool, is this tool implemented by Plotch or is this implemented at the seller app site?
So we Plotch trains seller apps to run it by themselves. So it's very simple to use. You just have to add the vendor ID and it runs the report and shows you the result. So
And does this also check for the quality of the content, or is it just a logic-based tool to just see what is filled and what is not, and what is the character count and stuff like that, or does it also see what exactly is there inside? Like, for example, a surf excel can be listed in two different long description and short descriptions. So just wanted to understand if that tool also analyzes that.
no, as of now, it's not there. But thank you for the suggestion. I'm sure in future we might come up with something like that. But currently, no, it's not there.
And also one last question. So also in the there are few buyer apps actually I think mandate like publishing their requirements how the catalog should be. So is
Yep.
that a correct thing to understand? That is my understanding correct that the buyer apps are now saying that this is what you have to have your catalog as to get yourself displayed on my buyer app. So how is that problem being solved?
Yes. So basically, most of the requirements that the buyer apps have, they are aligned with the ONDC requirements. It's not that there are separate features which are required or separate information. But yes, there are certain buyer apps who have certain restricted words, right? Which is not really something that ONDC has given guidelines for, but it is buyer apps who have given. So we again have ready to access the details of all those restricted words, which we share with our seller apps so that they can accordingly ensure that those words are not used. Besides it, most of the things are very much well aligned with what is the ONDC requirement.
Yeah, ONDC says, for example, my question when you mentioned like one picture is required, right? So ONDC might say one picture is required. Let's say hypothetically, I'm just taking an example. Let's say Paytm says that four pictures are required or two pictures are required for you to be displayed on the buyer app. So that discrepancy, I'm just asking that's my question. Like, does ONDC will mention the bare minimum, whereas the buyer app will have something else for better quality or something? So that's my question.
Yes, I do understand that, but as of now, it's only restricted words which has come up as a different requirement from the buyer apps. Rest of the things are very much the same as what ONDC needs, and which is the beauty of this network, right? Which is why everybody's on the same network, so they follow the same guidelines. So as
Thank
of now, as per my knowledge, there is nothing else. Yeah. I think Pareen has raised his hand again. Pareen.
No, that is from the previous one. I forgot to lower it.
Okay. Yeah, over to you, Tarun.
Yeah. So I think there are no further questions. So what we can do is we can move to our
Tarun, just one small
yeah,
question. Sorry, I got
yeah.
the I have shared one link on chat. So if somebody, I think Neha was answering my question. Yeah, yeah. Somebody was answering my question. If they can go through there, so there are mentioned like multiple buyer apps where they have put like minimum standard for displaying search results. So that was my question. But anyways, if
Okay. Yes, these are the declarations. This is for search results, right? So this is for search results that they expect you to have, all the accurate information on all of that. So every buyer app has to make these declarations. So which again we guide the seller apps as to how they can comply with all of these. But this is not exactly one to one related to the attribute point that we were discussing.
okay, okay. So what is this related to again? This is something, can you just dive down if now or
So
later or
basically,
something?
this is related to compliance, which we are going to cover in today's one of the sessions that we will have. So there are a couple of declarations which they require, which ONDC require, which is mandated. One is related to your sorting parameters, where the buyer app has to declare that on what basis are you giving a search result, right? So for example, if there were 1,000 calls made to a seller app, out of which X percentage they got a knack, and there is any other challenge that they are facing, so they can have certain benchmarks. And buyer app can say, if this will happen, sorry, we will not show you on top of the search result, right? So the such kind of different parameters that you have for showing the for sorting the search result is something that you have to declare. This is one of the requirements. Then you also have certain declarations as a buyer app to tell that how frequently are you going to make the payouts to the sellers, right? So such kind of things which we will cover in today's session. And these are live links, so it's for everyone to see, or for all the network participants to see what criterias they show the search results, etc. On what criterias are they sorting parameters based. Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Neha. So I think there are no further questions on Seller app. We can move to our second demo, which is going to be a Shopify demo that seller can get on board who are there on Shopify. And so for this, I would request Priyanshu, please can you take it over from here?
Hello. Hello, everyone. Priyanshu this side. Am I audible?
Yes, Priyanshu.
Yeah. Okay. So we can connect our Shopify account with our Plotch account. So wait. Is my screen is visible?
Yes, Priyansh.
Yeah. So in our deck, I mentioned all the steps that how you can connect your Shopify account with the Plotch accounts. Here are all the steps. This is my Shopify account. I'm just opening. This is my Shopify account. I already attached with our Plotch account. This is the Plotch account I was attached. Okay. So these are the steps we have to follow. We have to go to the app section on the Shopify account. Here are the app section. Next, we have to go to the this apps and sales channel setting here. Apps and sales channel setting, and then we have to go to the develop app. These are all the steps I was mentioned. So you have to follow all these steps to connect your Shopify account with our Plotch account. After that, now I am showing you how to upload a product in your Shopify account and push in our Plotch account. Okay. So I'm
So
just adding a
basically,
product here.
somebody has a Shopify account and they already have an e-commerce, transactions happening on their website, and they already have those products uploaded and pricing and inventory managed. So those products can be pushed to Plotch, from where they can make it live on the network, right? So it can be pushed to the seller apps account, and then from there to all the buyer apps, and with these APIs through these connectors, right? Is that what you're telling everyone? Yeah, please carry on.
Yeah. Okay. So we have to create all the APIs. I mentioned the steps how you can create our APIs here, and where you have to enter these API in Plotch. In the below, here is a channel instance, and you can mention your all the API keys here. Here, these are the API keys you have to mention. Okay. So after
Priyanshu,
all these
can you
steps,
show the channel instance once in the actual
yeah,
Plotch
sure.
account?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
So this is the channel instance I was made for the Shopify. If you are creating a new account, so you have to click here, launch channel. I'm just showing you, and then you have to select a Shopify here. Okay, I was already created, so I am showing you. I already created account. Just going back.
So the secret keys generated in Shopify account can be actually put in this Plotch account to connect client's Shopify account and the Plotch account, right?
Yeah, this is the already created account here. I'm showing. These all are the settings you have to uh, mention here. And in the below, I can't show you here. In the below, you got this kind of option. Provide API keys, provide API secret keys.
Sorry guys, since these are secret keys, Priyanshu cannot show it on the live account.
Basically, after doing all the settings in Shopify,
Here.
we will generate an API key, token, and password, which we will use to connect this Shopify account with our Plotch. So this is the process. Yeah, Priyanshu.
Yeah, here you have to mention your all API keys and the secret keys. Okay. After mentioning all the keys here and clicking on submit, your account will connected with your Shopify account. Okay, so then you can upload your product from here. I'm just uploading a product. Giving a title, giving a description, just filling some details here. Mentioning the inventory here, the SKU is. I'm just saving the product. Okay, now my product is added. Here we can see this is the product I will edit. Now I'm just opening my this Plotch account. going to the product section. Okay, so we have to wait for a second. Like it takes approx 10 to 15 seconds or 1 minute to syncing the products.
So here in the Shopify account, Priyanshu, if you can show the Shopify account product once again. What we have done is we have mapped the product type to the Plotch categories. What that facilitates is that you don't have to choose which category you have to upload in the Plotch account. The system automatically pulls the Shopify product type, maps it to Plotch account, and shows the product here in the Plotch account. Priyanshu, can you show the product type in the product that you have already uploaded in my Shopify account?
Yeah.
Here the product type t-shirt is mapped to the Plotch account.
Here.
Yeah.
The product type is t-shirt here. Okay. I'm just refreshing the page. Now we can see the product is here. Okay. I'm just opening this account, our seller app account also. Give me a second. When the product is live here in the product section, we have to open our seller app account. This is our seller app, right? Now you can see the product is visible here. I just uploaded. Okay. And for making this live in our buyer app, we have to just this is our buyer app. So we have to make a search call here. Whenever anyone make a search call, whenever anyone searching this product with his title, the product will be live in the our buyer app also. Give me a second. It takes approx 1 minute also. Let's wait. Okay, now if I make a search call, now we can see the product is here. Okay. So now our product is live in our seller app also, in our buyer app also. Now I'm just making an order here in our buyer app. For the same product. Okay, got out it. Okay, now my order is placed in the buyer app. Okay. Now, yeah, this is the order details. This is the alternate order ID created, and this is the order ID. So I can see this order in our seller app also, and in our Shopify account also. I'm just showing you, just opening my this is our seller app account. Fulfillment order. Now you can see this is the order I just made here, and I'm just opening my Plotch account also. Shopify account. This is our Shopify account. I'm just going to the order. Okay. This is the order. Okay, for updating the status for this order, let's try to cancel this. Okay, I can update the status of this order from here also. I'm just canceling this order from here. Okay, now the order is cancelled here. Give me a second here. So now I can see the updated status here and here also. I'm just refreshing the page. Give me a second. Takes a minute. It takes 1 minute approx. Let's wait. Okay, now the order is cancelled here, and the status is updated here also. So this is how we can upload a product in our Shopify account, making the product live in our seller app and buyer app. And after that, we can update the status of the orders also. Okay, is anyone having a doubt? Any doubt here? Any questions?
So in the network, let's say if I upload a new product in the seller app, so how much time does it take to get visible in the all the buyer apps?
Approx 1 minute, 2 minutes.
But I'm just again, wouldn't the buyer apps already have a cache of some products already? So how that 1 minute gets done? Do they do every
Yeah,
time real?
I'll answer that question for you. So basically, today, practically, what happens is the buyer apps do search by city, and they sort by city either in the morning, or they can do like every 3 hour, 1 hour, and then basically they refresh the cache. So you're absolutely right that everyone is basically creating a cache of the product of this, the seller app side. They basically do search by city, take all the catalog from all the seller apps and create a cache. So whenever you are searching for t-shirt, sari, jewelry, phone on a buyer app, actually that product is coming from the cache. And so not it's there's no live search which is happening. So that basically the practically how the behavior is happening. Now because of that, it can take 1 hour, it can take like 3 hours, or it can take even a day for your products to be visible on a buyer app if you make it live on the seller app.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So what is that shift by city you mentioned? What was
Search
that
by
about?
city. So search by city basically is a mechanism which basically we buyer apps poll each and every city code. So it's basically by STD code. So 080 STD code. Who are the sellers who have the catalog? And then seller apps will give the catalog for that because it is designed that way. Because some buyer apps may say that actually I only serve Bangalore. And Bangalore's STD code is 080. So only give me Bangalore's catalog. I don't want to see other cities catalog. Then there are 250 pin codes which ONDC has made live. So in the morning, Plotch, system actually polls each of these pin codes. So who has the product, who is the seller, who has the product, and those kind of stuff. Collects all this and then caches it.
Got it. Thank you.
So basically, I'll just summarize what happened. You basically saw how a seller on Shopify can sell on ONDC. So Shopify connecting the product which is there in Shopify, flowing, that flow of that into Plotch ecosystem, which is Plotch seller app, then flowing from Plotch seller to a buyer app. And then basically any order which is placed on buyer app, that order flows to seller app and then flows to seller's Shopify account. And then the seller can cancel or they can update the status of the order. Then the status actually flows from Shopify seller account to Plotch seller app to Plotch buyer app kind of stuff. So that's basically how the orders, catalog, status are flowing in the ecosystem. And that's what Priyanshu just showed.
Excuse me, Mr. Manoj, right?
Yes, yes.
So my concern, Plotch is what? It's a platform of ONDC. It's using ONDC in backend.
We are a technology service provider. So in ONDC, basically the participants have different, I would say, types. So buyer apps and seller apps, they are called network participants in
Understood.
ONDC, right? Then there are
Okay.
people like us who are technology providers to network participants. So if they want to go live in the network, they need technology, right? ONDC is a network. Any network you look in the world, you need network infrastructure, right? Look at the mobile networks, right? Mobile network, what infrastructure mobile has, right? The towers, the routers, the switches, and all those things, right? So any network you create in the world, you basically need network infrastructure, and we are the people who are providing that. So that's basically our role. Then there are people like RSPs, which are reconciliation settlement providers. Then there are people like ODRs, which are online dispute resolution providers. Then there are QA and certification agencies, which basically ONDC employs so that buyer apps and seller apps and TSPs can get certified. There's a whole ecosystem which is building up, and
Okay,
different types of participants are there.
got it. Thank you.
So Manu, just a follow-up question on the cache thing. So let's say if there is a change in the inventory which I have, let's say if I have some amount of t-shirts and they're all sold out. So next time the buyer has already my cache. So let's say the product is actually not available. So how does that problem get sorted? Let's say, yeah.
No, that's a great question, Shriram. So basically, let me tell you, in version 1.1, which is the version which is happening right now, the inventory is something which is shared when the catalog is cached, right? And if when someone is doing add to cart, is at that point of time, the seller app can say that this product is not available. Of course, it's a bad consumer experience. So what is happening in the version 1.2 is you can, you know, in an unsolicited way, you can update your inventory at the buyer app side, which basically means that as soon as your product is out of stock on the seller and seller app side, you can immediately fire unsolicited on search, which is the API which ONDC has, and update the buyer app inventory of your product. So it goes out of stock.
Okay, so it should be a proactive measure from the seller side that
From
if
the
I
seller
know that
side.
yeah, inventory is done, so I fire an on search. So that buyer app will accept.
That buyer app will accept. Now that's one product enable and product disable, product out of stock. That is one activity. You can also say my seller has disabled, or my seller is not on, no longer, or has gone on vacation. So you can make a sellers also, the whole seller also, disabled on the buyer app side through a unsolicited or on search.
Manoj, do we have to hit this on search individually for each buyer app, or like how does that?
Individually, it's a P2P. It is point to point. So you have to do for each buyer app.
Okay.
Sorry, so is that not for the whole network? If my product is displayed on the whole network, but still have
So
to like fire it.
it's basically it is how this is been structured. Now I said unsolicited in some ways, but every buyer app will tell the seller app through a broadcast mechanism whether I basically accept a incremental update or not. So you can only send incremental updates of your products. And they also tell you, you can send me 30 minutes, you can send me 50 minutes, or those kind of stuff, right? So they have to accept your incremental update. So that's why it is point to point in some ways. So seller app will log that somewhere, okay, these are the buyer apps who have said they can update, and they can accept my incremental updates. And then I will send to these buyer apps as soon as my inventory is updated.
But practically, this acceptance is happening of on search.
Yes, it is there, yes.
Sure. Thank you.
Should we, Neha, do you want to drive the next phase? I think it's.
Sure, it is the Kirana app demo, right? Which we will do next. So I
Manoj,
think
just one question I had before we move on. Can I ask that one right
Yeah,
now?
please, please.
Sure.
Yes.
Thanks. Uh, in the network, there may be a buyer and the seller are from the same, I'm using word organization,
Yes.
and they can actually, I'm using word make their own private gardens, let's say. How does it make sure, let's say, it doesn't happen sit across? What's the safeguarding there? Because let's say a buyer app says I won't accept the seller's update this every 30 minutes, one way or the other, and they just do their business with their buyer app, their seller app, and the stuff. How does it get safeguarded? Because it by construct it needs to be democratic, right?
So it's a good question. So a private garden, why would I create a private garden on ONDC if I'm doing my own buyer app, seller app kind of transaction, right? So it is not a natural behavior, I would say, for a buyer app to engage with its own seller app, because it doesn't serve any purpose. I
Manoj,
could have created my own platform, right?
yeah, there's an incentivization model which is currently in place for buyers and the sellers, right? I mean, the
Okay,
details
so
around the
yeah, no, that I understand. So maybe for other reasons, they want to do that, right? So now,
right.
like Neha talked about the policies that you have to publish,
Mm. Okay.
that you are showing products based on certain criteria, sorting criteria. It's called, what are your sorting criteria? And you have to
Okay.
publish that publicly. I think someone shared that link, this is what a buyer app ATM, this is my published.
Huh.
So you as a seller has a right to question that and say, oh, because of, this this policy, why is this seller coming or why I'm not coming?
Okay.
And the reason why this has been done is primarily because of the ethos that it is a democratic network, it is open network, and there should not be any bias in the network.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thanks so much.
yeah.
Go ahead. Yes.
So moving forward, basically Mayank is going to make us go through this retailer app. So what we have seen is that a lot of retailers, they are not very comfortable in using laptops or desktops in order to fulfill the orders that they receive, or to manage the inventory, or to the product upload. They require some sort of solution which is very easy, handy, and it can be easily accessible, not too much of infra is required. They can move around with it, even if they are traveling, they can take care of the business and all that, right? So, considering this requirement, Plotch came up with this retailer app, which will give us an understanding of exactly how maybe a small kirana store or a small retailer, how they can utilize it in order to have like seamless management of their orders, fulfillment, shipment creations, all of that. So yeah, over to you, Maya.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'm audible.
Yes.
Yes, Mayank.
Yeah. Thank you. So this is the node retail app that I'm showing you here. Basically, as ma'am explained about this is the Kirana app for the local Kiranas, those who don't.
Mayank, your screen is not visible. Or retailer app. Yeah. Now it is.
Okay. Yeah. So for those who are the Kirana stores user and want to be online to sell online products. So basically, this is the customer page here. This is the node retail app simply, and seller needs to log in that application only here, and from his registered mobile email ID and order detail.
Mayank, maybe better for you, basically show the app. I think the screens are okay, but just show the app.
Yeah. Okay.
You have the app ready, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
I'm just
So
sharing.
basically, let me tell you a little bit about this Kirana app. It's designed uh, primarily for small retailers for Kiranas. So, and it's a very simple app. No zazzy thing here. You basically can. It's a pre-populated catalog is there. So a Kirana guy can say that I want to add Maggie to my ONDC store, basically in ONDC. So I just search for Maggie and add Maggie, and then it goes Maggie. I'm started selling Maggie, and it can just make it unavailable, not available. They don't have to add inventory because it's unlikely that Kirana wala will maintain inventory and stuff. And then basically any order comes, they can just accept dispatch kind of stuff, and basically also track where if they have assigned a delivery agent. So if they have assigned a delivery agent, they can track the delivery agent, where the delivery agent is, how it's been delivered concept. So basically those are the features which I think, Mayank, you want to show folks here. Yeah.
Yeah. So is my screen visible?
Yes, Mayank.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the seller basically, and as I was explaining the home page, here seller can see the order revenue and the order report on home page, and basically he want to show the product in its application. So simply go to the my product section here, and if want to say the add single product or want to product from gallery, so both options are visible here. If you click the add single product, you can choose the category in which category you want to add, and simply click here on images. You want to add the whatever the stocks available and whatever the image available in stock for the manual. And in same from the predefined catalog we have already explained here, mentioned here. So you can add also that kind of product from here. Like we are clicking here, check
So
box from here.
one is basically how they can add simply a simple product where an image is uploaded, and basically some kind of description and prices is added, right? And the other way
Yeah,
is basically there is a way to add your from a pre-populated catalog, which
yes,
basically has all the grocery items, other items, which basically just add, and it basically becomes part of a catalog. That's what you're showing, right?
yeah, yeah, yes. Okay, going to the next, and this is the product section, product page. Now seller
And
will
you
see
can
the
make it
added product
visible on off. You can toggle
here.
it, right? So on and off.
Yeah,
So visibility will be off and on
We
based
don't.
on this. Right.
Yes, sir.
So now,
So
if
seller
the
have
order
access.
comes, then what happens, Mayank?
Okay. So when orders come, seller go to the order page, and here are the orders. Seller has only access to accept and reject. Don't do anything more. Once the seller accepts the order, okay, that order will in process. Okay, and after that, if seller want to see the tracking details, he can click here in more detail and see the track details also for that particular order.
So basically, a Kirana guy, if he gets an order from ONDC, they will
Yeah.
see a pop-up here, and then they can accept and reject that order. And if they
Yes.
accept, then they can basically ship it, right? They can
Yes, sir.
ship it,
Yes,
and
sir.
then they basically can see where the order is, uh, where the rider is, if they have assigned a rider.
Where the rider is, yeah, where is the order is going and delivered or not, that
And
we
that
can
that
track
they
also.
can see in the map that you showed.
Yes, sir. That in tracking details in click here in more details. But the reject option is also here. Reject the order will also cancel. So we can reject that product also. So it will show the cancel here. Okay. Now, what will do? Seller having the delivery agent also. So delivery agent, what will do? Here I am logging the delivery agent account.
So this is for where the some kind of, let's say it's a Kirana store is there which has like 4 5 delivery agents, or maybe their own staff who is delivering. How will they manage those kind of stuff, right? So they can create those delivery agents account. They can, and then basically manage those delivery agents here. And this
Yeah.
is the delivery agents view, right? This is what a
Yes, sir. This
delivery
is the
rider will see, right?
yeah. So here the you can see the order, and rider will see the order accept and reject option also for the rider here, and he will just accept the order from here only. And so the order is accepted, new order I can see. That was the order number 773. That I accept.
So here it is showing that it is an item which basically has an item which is it's a cash on delivery item, and it is
Yeah.
570 rupees, right?
Yes, sir.
And does the rider
And then
also see address?
yeah. From here, now the next step for the rider, marked as picked.
So rider can mark it as picked. Okay.
Yeah, once marked picked, the exact location will appear on the screen, and also rider having access to share the live location, so it will share. Yeah, you can share it also. And once the rider will move for the delivery, it will also move in map. Okay, and once the destination will cover for the rider, he will reach the destination and he will mark as delivered option from here. Once it will
So
mark the
rider will
delivered,
once it delivered to customer, they will say
yeah,
mark as delivered, right?
mark as
Then
delivered. So that order will deliver here. It will display
got it.
complete.
And then the
Yeah,
Kirana, the retailer will know that it has been
yeah,
marked as delivered. And the
yes,
customer will also get a statement that it has been delivered.
yes. So that notification will on the storefront from the order camp, where the from order camp, it will update for also here, and the agent can also see the delivered order, whatever the order has been delivered in delivered order details.
Got it.
Yeah,
Great. So it's a Kirana. So what you just showed is a Kirana retailer managing their
yeah,
catalog, their orders, their riders,
yes,
and then a
yeah,
rider managing his or her orders and then
Yes.
delivering that orders and marking it as a delivered, right? That's what
Yeah.
you just showed.
Just yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir. Just I'm trying to show that in simple clicks, all the process has been done.
Great. Thank
Yes.
you, Mayank. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Just can you show adding a product? How does that process happen completely?
Mayank, can you show the retailer?
Yeah. Sure.
Just log into retailer. So there are two ways. One
Okay.
is just stop here. The two ways. One is you can add a single product yourself. Another is that you can add from a existing, pre-existing product gallery. Any particular flow that you want to go into?
I think single product can go.
Yeah, just add a single product. So you choose a category in which you want to add, and then you upload an image. And you can add more images if you want, and you can put a name. It's a very simple way to add a product. You can just put, say, Ashirvad Atta. At the price you want to. So it basically asked you the image, the product name, and the price.
So when we saw in the desktop web application, there was some long description, short description, score, and all. So wouldn't that be required here?
That lot of those are automatically created. A lot of them are automatically created. So
Okay.
now the question might be that for Ashirvad Atta, you also need probably manufacturer name, address, and FSSAI number.
That is easy. That is a standard product. Yeah, probably you might have it.
Yeah.
So basically, even a back image of the product would help here, because in that case, even if the information is printed at the backside and the image is uploaded, that's good enough, and that is taking care of the requirement. You don't have to fill in the details separately in that case. This is only for your packaged goods,
Okay,
packaged from
so
us.
here in this example, when he uploaded the image of the front image of the Ashirvad Atta, so then the other details I'm assuming is filled by Plotch by looking at image or pre-populated information about Ashirvad Atta, or how does that happen? So that the buyer
Yes.
app gets the whole.
Yes. So basically, we are. It's still actually to verifying WIP for us that we
Okay.
are bringing a lot of AI into ONDC, where we do attribute enrichment using images and product description, whatever product description person might have done. So, for example, if it's a kurti and the color is red in the image, basically we will say color as red, and detect it as a kurti as a category and those kind of stuff. So there are a lot of other attribute enrichment, like if it's a pizza seasoning, versus, so tag it as a pizza seasoning. Uh, then a lot of the other things like standardized products, your manufacturer name, everything, if it's there in the back image, using OCR, OCR technologies in AI, basically extract that and put that in the attributes of the product.
Got it. But there is not, so given that Ashirwad, Maggie, and all are very common products, so can't the, what do you say, this seller can't just type Ashirwad and get a pre-populated catalog already?
That's one of the other options which were there, right? So
Okay.
Mayank
Okay.
showed where you actually are in one way you are uploading an image, putting a name, putting a price. Another flow is where you just search for Ashirwad Atta. The pre-populated catalog is already there. You just say,
Okay.
I want to sell this. I add it and you're done. No image
Oh,
upload, no
okay.
product name, no nothing.
Okay. So that's a feature by Plotch.
Yes.
There are
Thank you.
always 7,000 plus products which are pre-populated, which are from FMCG companies, popular food products, Britannia and Cadbury's and ITC and all these. So there are almost 7,000 plus products which are already there, which are regularly available with most of the Kirana stores. All they have to do is just say active or inactive, and even the inventory is managed in such a way that you can keep it as infinite inventory. So assuming that the Kirana store will have the inventory with them managed well.
In fact, in version 1.2, what has happened is the whole concept of inventory has been reduced to in stock and out of stock. So you no longer have to share your inventory numbers with buyer apps. You just say whether its product is in stock or out of stock.
Okay. Okay. I mean, what was the ideology behind it? I mean, just in case since you mentioned.
Because the inventory at seller side changes so much that it's better to keep it lightweight. See, I as a seller app, if I'm selling a product A with an inventory of let's say 9, and I send that inventory 9 to buyer app A and then buyer app B. Now buyer app A has given me an order, so they will make it an inventory 8 at their end. But buyer app B has also placed an order at the same time. So buyer app B will have inventory of 8. But actually at the seller app side, the inventory is 7 because it received 2 orders. So inventory has very little meaning for a buyer app side.
Got it. Sure. Thank you so much.
Manoj, one question I have. Hi, this is Vivek. It seems to be very, very heavy at the seller side of the world because so many buyer apps would be actually almost constantly pinging, searching across for catalogs and the stuff. It becomes too compute heavy. Is that something? And when it becomes compute heavy, then the cost goes high. How does it get scattered across? What's the seller app are generally, and how does we can make it more optimized there?
Yeah, so basically, the reason why people like us exist is primarily to ensure the network throughputs can be handled at a scale at a marginal cost. So there's a whole concept. Like if you look at a stack, right, any stack, it has an application layer at the top, which basically is your web app or a mobile app or a vendor panel. And then you have a ERP below it, and then you have a network layer. The network layer is a unique thing in ONDC because in Shopify, other ecosystems, other platforms, Magento, network layer doesn't exist.
Okay.
Now, network layer is a very, as you rightly say, it's a very, very high throughput infrastructure where
Right.
like millions of select in it, confirm, all that catalog is coming. Every morning, we process 1 crore SKUs, 5
Oh.
crore images every morning.
Mm.
Right? So it is a very, very heavy thing. Now, how we can do it?
Mm.
Because we do it once and then it's available to multiple buyer apps and multiple seller apps using Plotch,
Mm.
of course.
Mm.
So it becomes beneficial for them. If they had built their own and were doing it on their own, then instead of 100 rupees divided by 25, they would have to incur 100 rupees. Now they are 100 divided by 25 for client's number. So 100 divided by 4 rupees what they pay for the network infrastructure.
Right. But Manoj, the major cost is actually at the search side, right? Thousands and millions of searches
Yes.
coming over, and to respond back in the milliseconds or seconds across, it's a high compute, right? A high compute, high availability.
Okay, so there are ways to do that. So at our end, what we do is for each, because the on search is
Hmm.
created at a seller level,
Hmm.
we in the night actually create catalog,
Hmm.
pre-create a catalog of all the sellers at the
Hmm.
provider ID base. The provider ID is the seller ID. And so
Hmm.
so provider ID one catalog, provider ID two catalog, provider ID three catalog. Thousands and lakhs of those we create, and then we put it on a bucket. When the
Hmm.
search comes, we
Hmm.
basically pull it, those pre-populated catalog. So we don't generate on the fly.
Okay. Okay.
No one,
Under.
yeah, because if you have to generate on the fly, you cannot respond within like few seconds.
Right. But then your inventory may go for a toss. I mean, the inventory may have gone
As
down.
as I said, inventory is moving to more real-time updates from the
Hmm.
seller app to buyer app.
Okay.
That's basically version 1.2. Inventory is basically
Okay.
live.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay. Understood. Thank you.
What was that on the network layer which you mentioned about? Can you just highlight that on that?
So basically, so maybe I'll show whose whose screen is there. Let me just
Vinod,
share. Vinod, can you
Vin-
just maybe I'll just share my screen.
Vinod, you can stop sharing.
So let me take you through our little bit of our tech. So as I said, we handle large scale, 300 million API calls and 50 million, 5 crore I said images handled, and 1 crore products handled, and those kind of stuff. Primarily because of the tech stack that we have, which is very modular, right? So in this tech stack, you have the application layer, then you have ERP middleware, and this basically the fat piece here is a network layer. Now, network layer basically has a middleware, ONDC middleware, and a ONDC network switch. Now, ONDC network switch basically takes care of authentication, encryption, and schema checks. All those things happen in the network layer. Then this network switch then talks to the ONDC middleware, which does whole payload parsing, and basically creates some kind of simplified language, which basically then it connects with the ERP, right? Like for example, the select is converted into add to cart, because add to cart is a language which ERP understands, but select init confirm is not what ERP understands, kind of stuff. So there's some kind of parsing happening here, and then basically the ERP goes to the ERP, then ERP talks to the application layer. That basically is a very simplified way of telling how it works. Uh, and these basically the buyer app here. This is a seller apps stack, and then select and those things. Then how this flows up is basically this is talking about. Uh, yeah, and we, as I thought about, we basically have a lot of APIs. So if you have your own ERP, we have this Plotch APIs, which basically you can use to connect to our ERP. And what also a network layer does is network observability, because there's a network observability requirement right now. So it does all the heavy lifting of network observability pushing of whatever payloads you have. Right? We get millions of calls every day, so it payloads which come with large JSONs. Managing this is basically a network switch. Is how network switch and network. I don't know if I was able to answer your question, but I thought it might give a bit more detail into
Makes sense.
This ONDC network switch is the ONDC property, right? Not to
No, no,
Plotch
no.
one.
There's nothing here is ODC property. This is something that we have built.
Okay. Okay.
So
How's the
ONDC takes care of two P's, primarily two P's. One is policy and one is protocol. But the technical and digital infrastructure is primarily responsibility of technology service providers, or people can build themselves also. That's not a challenge. But they don't get into digital infrastructure or network infrastructure.
Right.
So currently the latencies are less than around 200 milliseconds, right?
No, it depends. On a network call, your latencies will be higher. So if you have noticed the buyer app, in the previous a demo of the buyer app that someone was doing, it used to say that when you did it add to cart or somewhere checkout, that your order details are getting processed. That is the time when the network calls are happening from buyer app to seller app, because they have to do inventory checks, select calls and init calls and those kind of stuff. And that latency can be 1 second, 2 second, or it can be 5 second also.
Okay.
So
Manoj,
you
just
might
follow up on this. This network infrastructure discussion that becomes relevant for TSPs, but not for network participants who are building their own app, right? Because they would be like just limited number of calls that, let's say, a buyer app who's building their own platform will do, or goes for the seller app, right? Is that correct, or is there something I'm
So
missing?
this is the architecture which we have come to. See, our architecture a year back was different. This is the architecture that we have come to because of the scale requirements that we have in our infrastructure. And without this architecture, it would be very difficult for us to scale the infrastructure. And reason I'll tell you is that the load of search, because there's so much of if you do a search by city, there are 100 seller apps, and each of these seller apps may have like hundreds of sellers. So you're getting like 10,000, 1 lakh calls hitting your servers in the morning. So your network infrastructure or network switch has a different scalability requirement. While your application layer sees your peaks in the, maybe in the afternoons when the traffic is higher, in the evenings, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, when again traffic is higher. It is not in the morning. So your application requirements, scalability requirement, the application layer are different.
basically the updates are happening in the morning and the like you mentioned 2 times in a day.
Yeah.
Uh, that's why you mean to say network layer is probably has a load in the morning,
Yes.
whereas
So if you
application
have to
while
auto scale, if you have to do a schedule scale up, you do that in that way at the network layer.
okay. And also you mentioned when the buyer, let's say when during the in the buyer app when someone orders, right? So all the information is cached, but you mentioned that there's an inventory check which happens. So during the whole buyer app ordering process, is there even a call made actually to the network sometime or no? I mean,
No, network is made. Network call is made, but we are we actually going towards a more concentrated call. So if you looked at buyer app, maybe buyer app demo will see your add to cart doesn't take time. So we don't do
mm,
calls, network calls and add to cart now. We do much delayed. We have delayed the calls and basically concentrated the calls to minimum time period, so that customer doesn't get into this every add to cart there's a call, and every add to cart I'm waiting that update to the cart. Now as a customer, I do generally you do 10 add to carts before you do one order, right? So for one order, why should I have a 10 add to cart latencies?
so the actual call is made when there is final buyout or checkout or something like.
Final, yes.
And that call is made to understand what exactly is the inventory available or
Oh,
not.
inventory, your latest pricing, your shipping charges, packaging charges, convenience charges.
Okay. That will be covered later in this, is it? Am I assuming?
Yeah, you will see that in the buyer app demo.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I think we can move ahead. Vinod.
Yeah. Vinod, can you share your screen?
We are, I think, running short of time, so we have to.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So, just to give a little bit of brief, so in this buyer app demo, what we are going to do is we are going to place an order as a customer on one of our dummy buyer app. Okay, so before we proceed, I'll just take you through this small presentation here. So as I earlier said that we are ONDC certified technology service provider, and we get clients live in few weeks, including the tech stack that we have, RSF, which is Reconciliation Service Framework, and IGM is Issue and Grievance Management, for which separate demo is been scheduled today. And then multi-channel, so it's not only a website or web app, but also we create mobile app, and we also have a single sign-on. Then we have payment gateway integration, and as it's a SaaS product, it's a customized UI UX. Then we have multi-categories, so retail categories including food and beverages, grocery, fashion, electronics, and home health. And merchandising, again, as a buyer app, you have to need your homepage as per your requirement, font, color, and everything. So we have customized homepage as well tool which can be used, which is very simple. If a person who knows how to operate a computer, then it's just a drag and drop that can be done. Then, of course, yes, as a buyer app, you have to acquire customers. So for that, you have to run promotions, generate coupon codes. So all those tools are also available. Then payments. So as I said, that payment gateway. Then again, payment that you need to make from your buyer app to seller app. So through RSF. So it is very simple and it is handled very nicely over here. Then ticketing is again IGM, which is the customer is required if they have any issues. Grievance has been managed through this, and then even customer refund, it is automated flow for increasing high customer satisfaction. So yeah, Vinod, you can take us through the demo of our buyer app. So as I said, that first we will place an order on one of our dummy buyer app, India Stack, and post that we will see how that order is been reflected on the backend panel of a buyer app. And we will also show Craftsvilla buyer app, that is the mobile app. We'll show you that as well in this demo. Yeah, Vinod, over to you.
Yeah, you can. Is it my screen is visible?
Yes, Vinod.
Yeah, this is a India Stack buyer app. So buyer app is the one who brings buyer on the network, and this is the moving carousels, banners, everything is customizable using Plotch backend panel. So here we can search.
So there are various sections. Sorry, Vinod, I'll just add here.
Yeah.
So for the home page, basically we have a tool at the back end which helps you create different layouts for your home page and also for the other pages. So here you can have different sections. They could be banners, they could be moving carousels, they could be different categories, which could again be in the form of a grid, or again, you can have different shapes there. You can have different sectioning, different padding between two sections and all of that. So it's very easy to use and you can play around with it. And also, there are widgets which can be created. Suppose you want to showcase certain products here which are most searched, or relevant products or similar products and things like that. So those widgets can also be created very easily and attached and can be showcased on different pages. Besides this, uh, here, basically, the entire color scheme, the fonts, sizes, and all of that is again very easily you can keep changing. There's also provision to create different versions, right? So, suppose there is a particular festival coming up, and you want your team to create a whole look and feel of suppose Holi, right? And you want to make it live only for 3 days before and after Holi. So you can schedule different versions and you can keep them ready. So we have that provision as well at the back end. Yeah. Vinod, you can continue.
Yeah. So here we have a search bar option. So I can search for a particular product.
Sorry, I have a question on a previous point. Can I ask it now?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, like it was mentioned that we can schedule different versions and schedule it as per our calendar. So that different versions can be scheduled for different regions. For example, Diwali is celebrated in certain markets, Holi is celebrated in certain markets. It won't be relevant for all the pin codes and all parts of India. So, is that feature also available?
No, for a specific domain, it will be a common page that will be created.
Okay, so it will be seen same across the markets, right? Across the
Yes,
pin codes.
that's correct.
Okay. Okay. Can it be built? Just a question.
We can talk about it separately.
Sure.
That's fine.
Sure. Thanks.
So I
Yes,
have
Vinod.
I have searched for the particular product. So here we can able to see the products and we can go to our product page. This is the product page and here we have our product details, product descriptions and seller details as well. So working days also available, working hours also available, delivery across India and seller address.
So these data that you can see over here is basically when a seller upload the product and pushes. So then seller app further pushes to the buyer app. So these details are filled by the seller that you see over here. Yeah, Vinod, you can place the order.
Yeah, even we as a buyer, you can also view the stores. So option is available. You can click on buy now button.
What does view store means?
View store means whatever the sellers upload, a particular seller, you can view all the products, a particular seller products.
Oh, and if let's say a seller is there on 20 different stores, let's say they have a chain, let's say Fab India. So where are the store locations? That also comes over?
No, I mean,
So store location. So if you see over here, can you go to the product page once again? So here, if you see, this is marketplace 200. So this is a seller. So in case of Fab India, so if Fab India products are listed over here, so when we click on view store, so all their products across all the hubs will be visible. If that particular hub is ready to ship on that particular pin code where this customer is available.
Okay.
So every seller has a specific address, right? So
Right.
whatever address they're filling up, that'll reflect here along with the product.
Okay. Understood. One more question here. These are so many images. How do you, is it all JPGs, PNGs, or WebP, or any guidelines there from the network? Because more the images, the heavy it becomes.
Manoj, you want to take that question? Are all sorts of images acceptable?
And okay, and are these images coming from the seller app?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Coming from the seller app.
Okay,
And
and these
JPGs
are
are
part of.
widely used. Whether WebP is acceptable or not is something that I was just trying to check. So
Okay,
far, JPGs are pretty much
and
used.
so for every call, hundreds of images are going over the network. I mean, these images.
Yeah.
Oh, too heavy, right? I mean,
Yeah, we do cache as well. So some caching is done in order to ensure that we are able to provide a better experience to the customers.
caching is between a buyer app and the seller app.
It's on the buyer
Or
app because once the data is received, then that is cached.
Okay, once it's been received, then you don't. Okay, understood. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, Vinod, you can place the order.
Sorry,
Yeah.
one question on the seller details section. So, is
Yeah.
that relevant for a buyer, or is it a compliance requirement that we need to show all of the seller details, like the working days, working hours, the address?
Yes. So this is from ONDC compliance. We have to show these details.
Okay.
Not just this, basically, also why, it becomes very important if you consider a restaurant. There is a possibility that they accept the orders only for a specific time period, right? So for them, these working hours become very critical. There could be certain businesses who would not be accepting orders on specific days. That
Mhm.
again, this information is important. Besides this, you would see that along with the product, there is whether the product is cancelable or not, whether it's returnable or not. If it's returnable, what is the return window, and all of that. So all those guidelines have been given by ONDC, and that's what all the sellers abide by. They provide that information, and this buyer apps, they showcase that information alongside.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, what is this compliance score which is mentioned here?
Yeah, you can ignore that. This is the test website.
Okay, got it. And this, if it's an e-commerce, sorry, fashion category, this timing does not really matter to me as a buyer because I can. Is that right to say that? I mean,
But it's a
Yeah.
requirement, so we showcase it.
okay, okay, but it does not matter to a buyer as such. I mean, if it's a category of fashion or something like that.
Yes, for a customer, it does not matter.
Oh, sure, thank you.
Yeah, Vinod, you can place the
Yeah.
order.
So I'll place the order. So I have two products. I'll remove one. Place the order. Even you can also change the address if you have, or you can edit the address. I'll choose net banking. So as everyone aware, the cash on delivery option is not available in ONDC, only prepaid orders. So I'll choose net banking. I'll pay securely. Pay now.
So, cash on delivery is not available in ONDC, is that right? What
Yes.
you
Yes.
said?
Yes. Yes. Currently, it is not available, but very soon it is going to come.
Yeah. Order has been placed successfully, and as a buyer you can go to a my account section. Under my order you can track your orders, even you can track your history as well, previous orders as well also you can track.
So here you will see the status of the order. Like right now, the seller has not accepted it, so it's in processing. Once it is delivered, it will come here as delivered also. Yeah.
So we can go to a backend panel of the India's buyer app. So this is a backend panel, a buyer backend panel, which is a completely a white label solution. And once you log in, you can straightforward come to a dashboard itself on the home page where you can see all the information like yesterday orders, yesterday revenue, all the information is available on the home page itself. And as a buyer, you can view the order status. So,
So whatever the status is been updated by a seller on a real time, it gets updated over here, whether it is on processing or delivered or it's been shipped. So all the details you get it here.
and you can able to see the order details also, which right now which we have I have placed the billing address and shipping address, order details, product image, and the amount summary.
So here, how if this is for the buyer app, right?
Right.
Yes.
So here, how do I find what is my out of all these order, what is my finder fee and how much I'm gonna get? Something like that.
Neha, would you like to take this question?
Sure. So basically, that will come in the payout section. Okay, there is a separate section where you are able to see the breakup. And as a buyer app in version 1.2, you now have the liberty of choosing how much of buyer finder fee would you like to charge for which category. So category wise, you can have different BFFs, and this is set in one of the instances that we have. You can preset it, and as per that, that much amount gets deducted from whatever payment is collected from the customers. Also, important point here is that this buyer finder fee, it is applied on the complete amount that the customer is paying for that product. It could be that the customer is paying 100 rupees as the MRP, and 10 rupees as shipping, just for an example, 5 rupees as surcharge, 10 rupees as packaging cost. But your buyer finder fee will be applied on the total amount that the customer is paying, which will be 100 plus 10 plus 5 plus 10, right? So that much is charged. And if you want to see the breakup, that is a section from where the payouts are generated, where you'll be able to see the breakup as well.
Okay, so basically,
Sorry.
Yeah.
so as a buyer app, I would have the option to say this is what my finder fee is. And is there any limit or guidelines on how much it has to be described, or is
So basically, if you are in a network, okay, there are certain rules that you have to follow, which are that if most of the others are charging a specific percentage, and if you charge too high, of course, sellers would not be happy with that and would not be willing to sell through you. Right? So, which is why it becomes important that within the network you maintain some sort of sanity when it comes to the percentage that you're charging, and which is why most of the times we see that buyer apps are charging more or less the ceiling. There is no upper cap or upper limit as such, but it's how naturally the progression has taken place.
this publicly available data?
So for seller apps, yes, all the buyer apps, they inform them separately as well, that for different categories, this is what we charge. Yeah.
Okay,
For the
thank you.
network participants, it's available.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, is it the catalog or platform fix anything? They are like my platform is semiconductor. I want to sell semiconductor chip there. So is it there a platform for me?
So if it comes under electronics, then yes, that category is already live,
Mhm.
and you can sell it.
Can I see where I can the any website link and anything?
So basically, what we can do is you can drop your email here in the chat. We can
Okay,
have a separate session where we can get to the details of your products and categories, and how you can come on board, etc. So we can do it
understand.
separately. if you want. Okay.
Understand. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Please
I
do
have a
send
question.
your message.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, please go
Yeah.
ahead.
So my question is, you mentioned that buyer's finder fee is on top of product price plus shipping plus packaging and various other charges which may have been applied on the platform, right? However,
Correct.
in the commercial document published by ONDC, it says that the buyer fee and a seller fee is built in the declared price which a buyer pays, and the gateway, shipping, logistics, everything is on top of that.
Yeah. So basically, what it means is that suppose a customer is paying 100 rupees. For example, it could be an addition of the MRP and etc. Whatever other charges are there. Then what the payment gateway is charging, suppose 2%, that will be charged on this amount, right? And that is what the payment gateway will ask, and that is of course separate.
That's unclear. So for example, a product is 100 rupees, right? So
Yeah.
what is mentioned in the commercial document is that the 100 price is the final price that the buyer will pay for the product. So this 100 will include the seller fee also and the buyer fee also. And now on top of this 100 will be the logistics and the gateway, and all those charges will be applied. Whereas what you mentioned is on top of 100, the buyer fee also will be applied. So I mean,
let me take this question. So basically, I think I don't know where this is written, but primarily whatever the customer has paid is the amount on which the buyer finder fee will be applied. And that basically is a combination of your selling price plus your convenience fee plus your delivery charges plus your taxes, whatever that is. It has been made abundantly clear to us that if 100 rupees plus 20 rupees the shipping charges plus 20 rupees another is the convenience charges, 140 rupees is on which the buyer finder fee will be applied.
Okay. Then it's contradicting. This document is published on the ONDC website only, but okay,
You
fine.
feel free to share with us because
I will. I'll just put it on the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, please
Thanks.
do that. Yeah, thank you.
During buyer app process, I just have a small question. So in the where we share address, right? So do we share our lat long usually, or is it just a string of characters which we share, which is passed on to the logistics service provider?
So basically, you have to share your lat long and your address.
Okay.
So customer, when buyer app shares with the seller app, so there's this address field which is there plus the lat long.
Okay, which ultimately gets passed on to the logistics.
Which
Okay,
ultimately
sure.
gets passed. So we
Thank you.
basically, if you look at, I don't know in the buyer app flows, you have to select a location at which you are there or you want delivery at, and then all the flows work based on that. What we do is using that location, we create a lat long using Google Map APIs, and then we pass on that to the seller apps.
So there is one lat long which you said will be which I am assuming will be created in the first place to make the search. Is that correct?
Yeah. So that lat long can be different from a delivery address, but that usually to avoid that, in our flows, we give an option to customer to basically select their delivery addresses at their previous delivery addresses as their location to avoid that issue, because you might be searching from, let's say you have set it somewhere, you were in Delhi and you were searching there, then you came to Mumbai, and you want your products to be delivered in Delhi, but you're searching in Mumbai. So that will not work, right? Because then at the end of the cart, when you share that actually I want my delivery to be in Delhi, your select your init calls will fail. There's an error call, service that this product is not serviceable. To
So
avoid
the
that,
search
yeah.
so the search is hyper local essentially, like related to your location.
Yes, search for hyperlocal, yes.
So even if I have to order anything, so I have to give my first lat long at the search level.
If it's not an hyperlocal, you're not required. Actually, for some of our buyer apps, we have disabled the location field completely because they're selling fashion. Fashion is serviceable everywhere.
Okay, it's just for certain categories. Okay.
Only for hyperlocal, yes, for grocery, for food.
Thank you.
Manoj, in terms of the payment, what you said, like the buyer app fees, that fees also includes the payment gateway charges?
No, buyer app fees is different. Buyer app fees is what's buyer app is saying that I will charge 3%, let's say 3% of the buyer app fee on the transaction. So let's say 100 rupees plus 140 rupees. So 140 into 3 plus GST, 3% plus GST. So whatever the 3.54 of 140 is, probably how much is 14, about 45 rupees is what I will, for 4.5 rupees, sorry, is what I will deduct from my payment, right? Now 4 point that what now I might have incurred 2% PG charges as a buyer app. So for me, actually effectively 4.5 minus my 2% or whatever that is 2.8. So I get actually 4.5 minus 2.8. So that's approximately 1.7.
Okay.
Yeah, 1.7.
In this, Manoj, let's say credit card is the most expensive, let's say, instrument for PG. And is there a way we can say our product can sell only on UPI, and we can have a like a better price proposition from a buyer app standpoint, or is it all
Oh no, that is not your preferred. Seller apps preferred payment methods are not conveyed yet.
okay?
It's not part of the protocol yet.
But buyer apps can have their preferred payment.
Yes, yes. As a buyer app, you can say I only use UPI. I will not, because I want to minimize my PG charges.
Right. So in this case, I mean, the if that happens across the seller says, let's say wafer thin margin business, and it's on UPI, then the PG charges becomes less. Eventually, the buyer app fees also goes down in a way. It can be unhelpful because right now
Yeah, yeah,
four
yeah,
and a
yeah.
half is
Yes,
quite high.
yes. So instead of 2.8 rupees, I paying to I pay to PG charges. I'll pay like zero or something close to zero.
Right, right,
So I get a better margin. So
right.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
All right. Thank you, sir. Vinod, we can continue with the demo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as a buyer app, he can only manage, he can only track the status. At the end of the day, seller will fulfill the order to the customer. And here we have a customization options like homepage, landing page, widgets, and navigations. All we have where you can customize your buyer app. And
So basically, it is the front end of your buyer app where you can create different carousels or widgets, landing page. So
So there are quite a few ready to use templates as well, and ready to use palettes as well, which has combinations which are ready as per aesthetics, and even font families where there's a combination of 2 to 3 fonts which can be used. So initially, although our team takes care of this entire setup, then we hand over where the NP's team they take care of it along.
Sorry, one more question. It's a drop shipping kind of things, or if it is different, then how it is different?
Drop shipping in the sense that as a buyer app, it does not matter to you till the time you are receiving an order and you are passing on to the seller app. Now, on which model is the seller app working is something that they have to take care. As
Okay.
a buyer app, you are just collecting the orders and you're passing them on to the seller.
Okay. Got it.
Any other questions related to UI UX here? Otherwise, Vinod, you can continue.
yeah, here we have a UI instance options where you can change your background color, general text color, link color, font, miscellaneous background, title text. And we have like top bar, you can also search box, and header we even also have footer, navigations, and we have color palette, you can also preview the color palette, font family as well, and product view also options we have available, and social share option also we have. Even in tools like we have a image uploader options, download sticker, we have the options. In marketing also we have abandoned cart recovery option also available, wish list recovery also have. You can also create a discount coupon codes, and you can publish on your buyer apps, and announcement option also available.
so basically, abandoned cart, and suppose if someone has come and they have not purchased and it's still in their cart, you get that data and you can get connected with the customer and convert that order. And same is for wish list, and for promotional you can just send them email or messages that your product is in wish list, would you like to purchase. So these are few features of marketing that we have, which buyer app can use it to generate more orders. Yeah.
We also have a very interesting tool which is for creating different promo codes, and on the basis of various criterias, like minimum amount in a cart, or probably products of X value, or there are a lot of different criterias based on which you can create promo codes, and these promo codes can either be system based, where if the all the conditions are met, they are auto applied and they can just be promoted with different announcements on different pages of your buyer app, or it could be manual, or where somebody has to punch in that code. Also, at the time of checkout, there is a provision where we provide a coupon wall, right? So the customers can see that which are the promos, which are your products are eligible for which all promos, and they can apply it and they can get those discount at the time of checkout. So that helps. Yes, Vinod, you can continue.
So this promo and discounts are given by buyer app.
Yes, that is correct.
And so they will be bearing the cost, I'm assuming. And what if the seller, let's say I have a coffee shop and I want to give, I have a chain of coffee shops in India, across India, and I want to give it to, give some discount to people in Mumbai or let's say across India. So would that be possible?
So in version 1.1, it was majorly, if you wanted to give a discount, you can have certain MRP and then you could have a selling price, and the difference was the discount that was offered. And it goes without saying that it had to be common for all the buyer apps. So your product had to have very standardized discounts for everybody. Uh, and otherwise in buyer app as such, you can give a discount, and in that case you have to make the complete due payment to the seller app, and you have to bear that burden.
Sorry, what was the
So
last thing?
let me add to that, right? So basically there are two types of discounts, so two or three types of discounts that a seller can offer. So one is slash. This is standard slash, that 100 rupees is a slash to 80 is my selling price and 100 is my MRP, for example. So 20 rupees is the discount that I'm giving. Now what Neha is saying, that this 100/80 is what goes to all the buyer apps. Now apart from that, let's say I want to offer as a seller buy one get one, right? Or certain location, as you said, I want to offer certain discounts, offer some coupons, which let's say go to my Bombay restaurant, Bombay store, and get like buy from there, and then you get like 20% more kind of stuff. Those offers is what sellers can share with the buyer apps, not in version 1.1, in version 1.2. So it is a feature which has been added. The sellers can actively promote their products and and basically offer coupons and offers, which will be displayed on the buyer apps, that these are the sellers who are giving these discounts. Is similar to banks offering their debit card offers and credit card offers at the checkout. So similar to that, where sellers can also offer that. So your the question, short answer is version 1.1 is a very standard 100/80. In version 1.2, you can offer much more richer offers.
This can be
Manu,
specific to customers in a particular city as well, targeting that.
Location based, category based, your product based.
Okay,
There are
thank you so
two, three other things which you can do that. Yes.
and Manoj, just to add to the question, in 1.2, you mean to say, let's say I'm doing a checkout for an ITC product, and I can show multiple sellers who are offering, let's say, lens cart or anything across, who are offering like 100 rupees off on lens cart when you book something like that. A wall can be done, and these can be sourced
Yes.
from the sellers.
Coupon
So is
wall
it
kind of stuff, which you
open
can
wall?
show that for this product, these are the sellers who are offering these.
Okay, and these are static promo codes, or like dynamic one for every user? It's a different, what do you call, promo code, or is it once get 50 off types?
No, basically, so ONDC is trying to templatize all the offers. So which means that
Okay,
buy one get one is a templatized offer which seller
okay,
can offer. or X percentage off kind of stuff. It's a templatized offer with a value of 20, for example. And then the qualifying conditions are there, ki, minimum order value, maximum order value, minimum to quantity, maximum, all that qualifying conditions can also be shared with the buyer app. Now, how buyer apps process that data and how that is buyer apps engine that they need to look at.
Okay.
Is there a way for
And
sellers to
is these
reward me as a consumer if I'm a loyal consumer?
Seller to is customer wise is not there. You're offering.
Okay.
If you're saying, can I offer? I know these sellers, these customers with these phone numbers buy from me a lot, so I will offer them. That is not there right now.
Okay. And my second small question is that whenever we saw the demo, there was this seller had all the contact details, address, everything. So is there a chance of pilferage, spam, and stuff like that? Because again, this is a huge seller network, which can be Kiranas, everything, right? So again, all the details are shared transparently. So how is that tracked, or how is that?
It's actually a great question. Uh, Probably we are not the best people to answer that, but I understand your concern that as a seller, if my sellers contact details and addresses and everything is published, and someone can poach them or someone can take them away or spam them and stuff. But unfortunately, this is what is now buyer apps. I don't know if by requirement, by law, you actually have to, I think, share the address of the manufacturer or the seller. Now, how visibly you show is maybe a buyer app can do
I'm
that.
talking about buyer, like me or you purchase on ONDC,
Hmm.
and that, let's say I might purchase multiple items via multiple small stores, right? So every small store has a direct contact to reach out to me or market to me, right? Uh, so you get my point, right? I'm sharing my
Yeah. So
address,
basically,
everything.
customer can get spammed by sellers.
Yeah, anything, right? So how is that information? Is there anything on that front?
Well, ONDC, I think, has published something that you cannot, as a seller, you cannot directly contact the customer. But practically, how will that get resolved? Frankly, I don't have a good answer right now.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Looking at the interest of the time, quickly, so you can see, Vinod has shared the screen where we can see this is Craftsvilla mobile app that has been created. Yeah, Vinod, over to you.
Yeah, this is also buyer app or mobile buyer application also customizable the same way how we can do a web one. Here also we have a banners and collection pages, everything we have.
So we are offering a buyer app in the form of a mobile app as well, a native app.
I think we can move to the next. I think
Yeah.
given that we have gone through a web version of it, mobile app is pretty much a similar flow, right? So we can
Yeah.
move to the next session because already I think we are
Yeah, we're running
late.
slightly late,
Late,
so
yes.
So next session we have Praveen, who is going to give you a download about accounting and compliance in ONDC. So Praveen, over to you.
Thanks, Varun. Good evening, everyone. I'm presenting my screen. My screen is visible?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. In this entire journey, transaction flows from the buyer app to seller app to sellers. So we are going to explain what is the accounting impact here. What is the revenue for buyer app? What is the revenue for seller app? What is the expenses for the seller app? And what is the expenses for buyer app? Also, we are going to explain the taxation. Sorry, taxation. Then coming to revenue, for buyer app takes a commission from the seller NP. So commission is the income from buyer app. Then buyer NP needs to raise the commission invoice to the seller NP on a monthly basis. Then coming to seller NP, the commission seller NP takes a commission from sellers. So again, a commission is the revenue for seller NP, and seller NP needs to raise the commission invoice to the sellers. Then coming to sellers, then sale of goods, sellers dispatch the goods to the customer directly. So seller needs to generate the invoice on the name of customers. So that is the revenue for the revenue of the sellers, and sellers needs to raise the invoice to the customer's name and recognize the revenue. Then coming to cost and expenses for the buyer app, payment gateway collects the money from the customers and transfer it to the buyer app. So from buyer app perspective, the cost is payment gateway charges for the buyer app. And for that, payment gateway charge the commission and raise the invoice to the buyer NP monthly basis. Then coming to seller NP, again commission expenses that has been paid by seller NP to the buyer NP. That is the expenses for the seller NP. And for sellers, that is the commission expenses. Seller is going to pay a commission to the seller NPs. So that's the expenses for sellers. And seller NP takes commission from the seller and send the commission invoice to the seller on monthly basis. Then coming to taxation, goods and service tax (GST). Buyer app raise the invoice to the seller NP, and in that invoice, as per the rule, 18% GST will be applicable on the commission. Buyer app will charge the 18% GST on the commission amount. Then return point of view, buyer NP needs to file the GSTR1 and GSTR3B on a monthly basis. Then coming to seller NP again raise the commission invoice to the sellers. So as per the rule, seller NP will charge the 18% GST on the commission. Then seller NP needs to file the GSTR1 and GSTR3B for the commission income. Again, there are if seller NP has deduct the TDS and TCS, then under the GST rules, seller app has to file the GSTR8 for the TCS, which seller app has deducted from the seller's payout. For the TDS under section 194, seller NP has to file the TDS return quarterly basis and share the TDS certificate to the seller. Then seller will claim for the income tax return. Then coming to sellers, sellers needs to file the GSTR1, GSTR3B for sale of goods. Then coming to TCS and TDS applicability, when TCS is applicable and when TDS is applicable on the transactions. There are two types of NPs. One is MSN and another one is ISN. MSN means who is holding the MSN means who is not holding the inventory. They are marketplace seller NPs. And another one is ISN. ISN means who is holding the inventory. Like I can give you an example. Blue Star is a seller app who is holding the inventory. They have own products. Blue Star falls under ISN. Then customer place an order on buyer app. Then buyer app pays amount to the seller NP, and buyer app pays amount to the seller NP ISN. So when buyer app pays amount to the seller NP, then if seller NP is MSN, then buyer app has to deduct the TCS and TDS. Sorry, if seller NP has a MSN, then TDS and TDS is not applicable while making the payment to from buyer app to seller app. If seller NP is ISN, then as per the rule, buyer app has to deduct the TDS and TCS from the seller NP's payout. Uh, then coming to payment flow, how the payment flow is happening in the entire journey. A customer place an order on buyer app, and payment gateway collects the amount from the customers and then pay to buyer app nodal account. Then buyer app has to buyer app settles the amount to the seller NP's nodal account and withdrawing the buyer finder fee to buyer NP's current account. Then seller app settle the amount to the seller's current account and withdraw the commission, TDS and TCS to seller NP current account. I hope all are clear here about the payment flow, taxation, accounting. If you have any query about the accounting.
How does the logistic layer come in this picture?
A logistic seller can dispatch the products their own. So seller can add the logistic charges in the price.
Okay, so that settlement, let's say if the logistic party is somebody from ONDC network itself. So would that settlement happen off network or something like that? Or I'm asking because it's not in the diagram, or is this just for this example, it's not there?
So let me answer that. The payment flows are happening per network. So when Praveen is presenting this, he is in this assumption is that it's a retail network and it's a off network logistics here. Now you may have a on network logistics, which means that for the particular order, you basically have used a on network logistics like Dunzo is for example, or Loadshare is another example who are offering on network logistics. Now on network here in this case, basically you are not collecting COD payment. But let's say if you are collecting COD payment, then the logistics player has to pay to the seller NP in the the nodal account of seller NP, and then the seller NP will then disburse. Basically, what you're saying is a buyer NP to seller NP flow. In the case of COD, it flows from logistics to seller NP to buyer NP. That's the kind of flow which happens. And of course, the seller is also there. So logistics, if in the retail network, let's say I as a seller, I have a product which is 100 plus 20 rupees my logistics charges. So what usually happens in the on network is that when I get an order request, I do a fire. I look for a courier option in my on network. I get a quote of let's say 20 rupees, 25 rupees, 30 rupees. I then, in my next call, tell buyer app my fees is let's say 20 rupees, 25 rupees, 30 rupees. So it's a very dynamic nature.
This is happening when you mentioned that at the end of the buyer app in the ad final checkout, there's a call made. That's where this is returned back.
Yes. So there's a cascade call which happens. We call it cascading. The retail network is doing a cascade call to logistics network and get some number from there, which is shipping charges, and then gives it back to buyer app.
Got it. Sure. Thank you so much.
Praveen, can you elaborate more on the settlement from the seller NP's nodal account to the seller NP's current account, which is like commission minus TDS minus TCS, right? So, what are these TDS and TCS, and will it be applicable for both?
No, not minus. Seller NP or the seller NP deducts the commission, TDS and TCS from the amount. Then TDS and TCS is a liability of seller NP. Seller NP has to file the GSTR 8 for TCS and TDS return for TDS reduction. So once the seller NP has filed the TCS, then seller will get an credit in the GSTR 2A.
Okay.
Okay. So that's why seller TDS and TCS is the liability of seller NPs. That's why seller NP has deduct the TCS, TDS as well as commission from the seller's amount.
Understood.
And remaining amount settled to the sellers.
Got it.
Yeah. Anything else?
All right.
Thank
Praveen.
you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
1 second, Karan.
Yeah.
Then last one is compliances. In the entire journey, buyer app and buyer NP and seller NP nodal account is mandatory. And then TCS registration number needs to be taken by seller NPs. And if applicable, then buyer NP needs to be taken the TCS registration in case of ISN. Then there is a one link where NP has to register on the ONDC portal. Then also network policy terms and condition structure is also accepted by the NPs. Then settlement terms are there, so that needs to be accepted by the NPs. Yeah, Tarun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Praveen, for the presentation and giving download.
Thank you.
Moving next, we are now going to give you demo for RSP, which is Reconciliation Settlement Provider. And after that, we are going to continue with the demo for Grievance Management in ONDC, which is IGM. Sachin, can you share your screen?
Yes, sir. I'm sharing my screen. Yeah. So is it my screen visible to you?
Yes, Sachin.
Yeah. So first, I would like to give some brief about the RSF, which is Reconciliation and Settlement Framework, which is implemented by the NPs such as buyer apps, seller apps, and logistic apps. So RSF is well defined to settle the funds and create an audit trails transactions for the NPs. And RSF has been created with the aim of ensuring transparency, efficiency, and adherence of our as per our regulatory standards. So I would like to go on next page. Just a minute. Yeah. So ONDC has set up some principles of RSF, which is node-to-node payments and seamless payments. So Plotch has developed RSF framework with IDFC Bank, like node-to-node payments and seamless payments, secure payments, and you can see here with low transaction fee, we have three-sided locks, which is buyer app lock, seller app side, and third one is ONDC side. Also, we have implemented the payment correction flow, TCS, TDS handling, and also payment splitting support, payment reconciliation support from the seller app side or buyer app side, both of them. So it is totally based on API. So moving to forward, this is the money flow of NodePay, which is our product for RSF. So here you can see there are two nodes on network, which is buyer app and seller app. So let's suppose here Paytm is the buyer app and Magic Pin is a seller app. So now the Paytm buyer app has received one order from Manoj customer who has placed one order of pizza, which is 100 rupees. So the 100 rupees will goes through the payment gateway of buyer app to their IDFC nodal account, which is network participant account. Here you can see. So once the buyer app has received that payment from the customer through their payment gateway, they have four conditions to fulfill. After that, they can initiate the request through the collector recon API to the Plotch RSP. So just a minute. So these are the four conditions, which is payment received from buyer to buyer app. That means the buyer app has received payment from their payment gateway to their nodal lag account, which is network participant account. Second one, the product has to be delivered. Third one is return window has to be closed. And fourth one is a buffer time kind of. The buyer app can put the 2 days stat for the reconciliation. After that, they can initiate the request to the Plotch RSP through the collector recon API. Now the Plotch RSP has received that request of collector recon. The Plotch RSP will send the settle request to the settlement agency. Here the settlement agency is NPCI, which is NBBL, National Payment Corporation of India, and they can settle the amount from buyer app nodal like account to the seller app nodal like account. So here you can see the buyer app has received 100 rupees and they have deducted the 3% of their commission with the GST, and the rest amount is settlement amount. Now the 96.46 will goes to the Magic Pin seller app nodal like account. So once the settlement has been done by the settlement agency, then the Plotch RSP will send the receiver recon to the seller app side. Now the seller app has received the receiver record and they have 7 days stat for the reconciliation. After that, then in between the TAT, they can send the on receiver recon to the Plotch RSP, then Plotch RSP will send the on collector recon to the buyer app. So after that TAT, the Plotch RSP will consider it as a successful settlement. So this is the flow of RSP in between the buyer app and seller app. So is there any question about the flow?
What was the 7 day tat about? So there, I understood the first four conditions, but what was the 7 day tat?
The 7 days stat for the reconciliation of seller app. The seller app has stat for the reconciliation.
Or whether they have received the correct amount.
Or not.
Yeah, basically what happens is that RSF is a framework so that network payment can happen seamlessly in an automated way. Right? So basically, I have paid as a customer 100 rupees to Paytm. How will that 100 rupees minus the commissions flow from buyer app to seller is happening through RSF framework. Now, the condition to release is, I think, was very clear. 4 conditions were there. But condition to accept, the seller app has to accept that payment. And that basically, I would say TAT is not really defined. I don't know, Sachin, the TAT is defined somewhere, but in Plotch, basically we have an open window of 7 days before in which you either have to accept the payment or you have to dispute the payment, either saying I received underpayment or overpayment. And then basically, if you say underpayment, overpayment, then there's a correction flow which kicks into RSF, which basically may mean that Paytm will either pay me more or I pay to Paytm, whatever has been overpaid to me, kind of stuff, right? So that 7 days is basically is a grace period that we have given to seller app that you either accept or reject. If you don't do that, after 7 days, we will tell RSP that it has been accepted, auto accepted, and then basically will be told to buyer app that the payment has been settled and has been accepted.
The nodal banks are decided, there are only few nodal banks in the ecosystem, or every NP has a choice to have their own.
There are four nodal banks who are offering nodal banks for ONDC ecosystem. So IDFC, Axis, HSBC, and there's
Bank.
one more. Yes Bank, yes.
Okay, and okay, got it. And NPCI's role comes in for the settlement or
For the
how?
settlement, yes. So we are a RSP, but we
Mhm.
don't have authority to settle take debit from one account and settle into another account. NPCI does it.
Okay, and what does exactly RSP do? I'm so sorry. If
RSP basically is sort of someone in the middle who's
Mhm.
taking the request for payment from buyer app or seller app, and then telling the settlement agency that please settle, and then basically also tell the other parties what is the UTR or the bank payments reference numbers are there, right? For
Mhm.
example, if a buyer app has paid to basically the seller app, then UTR has to be shared with both buyer app and seller app. That this is the UTR. So RSP basically shares it to both of them.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Manoj, so is it that both buyer app and seller app must engage with an RSP for the settlement to happen?
It is as per ONDC, from whatever we have heard, it is a mandatory to use a RSF framework to settle.
Got it. And what is the business model for any RSP?
Or we basically we so RSP, you have to be certified RSP. So we are one of the few who have been certified by ONDC as RSP. Our business model is that we basically charge a percentage of the payment. So it's like a PG kind of operation.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any more questions about the RSP flow?
Sachin, Mr. Abhishek has a question in chat. What are the time periods between Plotch RSP and then between NBBL T plus question mark?
Yeah, it is T+1. So once the settle has been fired from the Plotch RSP, then the settlement will be done in between T+1 by the NBBL.
So currently it's once per day. Settlement is once per day, but I think NBBL will make that more frequent in the day. I think we can move ahead, Sachin.
Yes.
With the demo, I think.
Yeah, these are the features of our RSP, which is ONDC certified, and we have automated commission deduction, TDS, TCS deduction, and like payment is splitting to the seller app and sellers. Also, we have seller payments dashboard, and which is totally API supported from external clients of Plotch to connect their ERP with our APIs. Also, we have reconciliation dashboard for the payment gateways amount and payment gateway charges, and we have IGM supported in case of any discrepancy of from the seller app on buyer app. They can connect to the NP through the IGM of any discrepancy. And also we have L1 and L2 approval before sending the request to the RSP or NPs, which is like a maker and checker. So yeah, so this is the RSP flow of our and features.
Yeah, Sachin. So, so we do have a demo for this, or we can
Yeah,
move
we
to
can do. So I'm going to log in buyer app account. So this is the buyer app account of India Stack, and I'm just logging it. So in accounts and payable, we have option which is nodal, which is just a minute.
Under accounts, you'll find it. Go to show more.
Yeah. Yeah. So here you can see we have orders. In filter option, you can see we have orders who are ready to the settlement and which are delivered items. And you can see here pay through RSP buttons is available for that order. Once I clicked on this, then we will go to the L1, L2 approval page, which is maker and checker. So we can see that.
So this is buyer app, correct?
Yes, this is the buyer app. Yeah. So this is the L1, L2 page. Also, I can see here the what is the amount of total order value, what was the commission we are deducting, and what is the TCS and status of this L1, L2 approval, and created data tab. So now I'm moving to the L1 approval.
I think somebody's mic is unmuted. Request them to please mute it.
Yeah, so I have sent the request to the Plotch RSP with this detail like invoice number, selling price, buyer offender fee, counterparty, settlement amount, settlement type, settlement bank account, bank name, settlement status, deduction by collector, uh, by the buyer app, payer details, payer address, and payer info. So we can see this detail in the form of collector icon on Plotch RSP. So let's see. So this is the Plotch RSP account. Yeah, it will visible in few minutes. Yes. So this is the collector icon generated by the buyer app, and it will be captured on Plotch RSP. So I am giving the L1 L2 approval, L1 L2 approval before hitting the settle API on behalf of the Plotch RSP. So it will take 1 minute to hit the settle API. Just
So the initiation has to happen by the buyer app to say that initiate to RSF.
yes, that's for that we have created the pay through RSP button and need to click on that.
And what if, so basically this is the compliance which has to be done through buyer app, and is there an automated way, like during the timeline, if this does not happen, is there a, because there is an initiation required from the buyer app side, so that's my question.
So once the order has been delivered, the status of that order is delivered, then you can see that order ID is here, and after that you can release the payout to the seller app.
No, but
There's
isn't
also
that,
a compliance related requirement where you make certain declarations that at what frequency you're going to make the payouts to the seller apps, and there you can declare that it will be T plus 7, right? So although there is T plus 7, the frequency is the expectation is that it needs to be daily, right? So you have to make the payments every day, and it could be for the orders which are 7 days old, so that your return window, etc., is all over there. So
okay,
that
and
declaration, yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah. So that's it. That's what I was telling. That you have to declare it, and you have to put that link which was shared initially in this meet. To put that
So
link.
is there a contract between a particular buyer app and a seller NP defining the payment terms?
Not that I am aware of, but it is just a declaration that
Yeah,
you make.
basically what happens is that every so so there is a certain API calls which happen, which is select on select, init on init, confirm on confirm. Now on confirm is a very large payload, which basically seller app sends to buyer app, and it is a signed contract and it is a dynamic contract. And it has all the settlement terms, your payment terms, your even other terms, cancellation terms, which ONDC is adding, return terms, everything. And that is fundamentally is a contract which basically you can say is basically we call it a dynamic contract, on which basically you can either go to dispute and say that, see, here it was the settlement term was this, but it was not paid on time, or it cancellation fee was charged, but this was the cancellation fee should have been charged. Those kind of stuff.
That was my question. Yeah, sure. Thank you. And also one more thing. So this process happens. So for a seller, right? Let's say at the end of the seller, let's say Kirana shop or somebody, who can it is it right to say that it will take around 7 to 14 days for them to receive amount the money?
Well, it's a good question. Basically, RSF is designed so that payments can happen very quickly. Now, for a grocery kirana wala, hopefully the delivery will happen within the same day, right? So delivered day is basically where the day is today kind of stuff. Now, idea is that you should be able to settle Kirana wala in the same day. But when the delivery happened, you're basically most likely your products are not returnable. Mostly food and grocery are usually not returnable, and you should be able to settle by the midnight or early morning kind of stuff. That's basically the idea. Now people may add like a T plus two, T plus three in their logic just to ensure that there's some maybe it's because working capital requirement or whatever that is. But way the push is happening is that it should be almost real time payment after delivery.
And as per you, like as per your observation, what is the duration, average duration? As per your
Right now,
observation. Yeah, yeah.
it's hard to say, but I think it ranges from T plus two to T plus seven kind of numbers.
Sure. Makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. So we have one dedicated dashboard for that. So here you can see we have captured all the details about settlement, order details, and reconciliations details. So we have captured all the details like what is the status of order and remit UTR, order IDs, and payment gateways charges, and what the payment gateway has settled the amount to the buyer and fees, aging of payment settlement. So we have one dedicated dashboard for that. So we have captured all the details like order, payment, and settlement. So now going forward for the settle API. So we have hit it. You can see here the settle API is hit by the Plotch RSP. So here we have not enabled the NPCI switch here for this account. So I'm doing the settlement by the manual process. So now I'm going to the buyer app account where we have ONDC settlement page. So here you can see we can download the settle API request which we have. Now I'm doing the settlement from the manual process. So this is the data of settle API. Yeah. So going forward to now the I have given this detail to my bank and the bank has settled that amount in case of NPCI has not enabled in this account. So I have got the UTR number from the bank and I'm going to upload that UTR number. So I have downloaded the template of that. So this is the settlement ID which I will get from that and amount in previous settle request, and the reference number which is generated by the Plotch RSP for every transactions. So for this demo, I can change the 4 digit of this demo, putting 7 times 4, 4 times 7. Now uploading this file. Once I clicked on submit button, that means the on settle will triggered by the Plotch RSP. That means the settlement has been done. So you can see here the on settle will be triggered, has been triggered, and within a minute the receiver recon will goes to the seller app account. So just a minute for that. It will take 1 minute. the receiver icon has triggered by the Plotch RSP to the seller app. So this is the payload of receiver icon, and now I'm going to the seller app account to check the receiver icon. This is the seller app account. In accounts and payable, we have tab which is node paying incoming payments. So once I clicked on this, yeah. So you can see here the payment date and time, which is 6:15, which I have sent. So here you can see there are four icons, which is one is summary of that transaction ID, which is transaction ID, buyer app ID, transaction date and time, network order ID, invoice number, status of this order, provider name, that means the seller name, and payment transaction ID, selling price, payment status, what you have received the payment, and what was the commission which is deducted by the buyer app, and bank name, account number, and bank code, which is IFSC code. The next one is the payload of receiver icon. Third one is the acknowledgement icon that you have received. Once I clicked on this, that means on receiver icon will be hit by the seller app to the Plotch RSP. That means you have received the correct amount. And fourth one is the correction flow. In case the seller app has uh, any discrepancy of underpaid or overpaid, so they can raise the correction flow from here through the on receiver icon. So here this is the reconciliation purpose, which is first we have payment details, which is network order ID, payment status, payment date and time, UTR number, and what they have received payment, what was the expected payment, and whether it is under or overpayment, which is totally calculated by the APIs, and order date and time, total order value, item discount, shipping charges, packaging charges, convenience charges, buyer vendor fee in amount, buyer vendor fee in percent, withholding amount, TCS, TDS, and invoice number, settlement ID, which is generated by the Plotch RSP for every unique transactions, and BAP ID, BPP ID, and transaction ID of receiver icon. This is the acknowledgement date and time. So now the seller app has stat to reconcile it. After that, they can hit the on receiver icon for the correct amount. They can click on this icon. If they want to raise correction flow in case of any discrepancy, they can click on this, and they can uh, select the status which is overpaid or underpaid, and they can fill the differ amount. The once they clicked on the save button, then the on receiver icon will goes to the Plotch RSP, and then Plotch RSP will hit the on collector icon to the buyer. So I'm showing, I will do. Yeah, so now you can see the on receiver icon, which will be received by the Plotch RSP. Then Plotch RSP will hit it the on collector account to the buyer app with the status of success. Yeah. So this is the whole flow of RSP in between the buyer app and seller app. So is there any
And
questions about the RSP flow?
all right, Sachin, I think there is no question, so we can move to our next demo for IGM.
Yeah. So first I would like to give a brief information about the IGM. So like RSF, IGM is also implemented by the NPs, and it is only for customer support. That means only customers issues can be resolved by the NPs in this. And buyer NP buyer NP gets ticket on behalf of buyers, and if buyer NP is able to give the resolution to its customer, then they can on that ticket, then they can simply use the reply button and they can give the resolution to the buyer. In case the buyer NP is not able to give the resolution, and if they want some information or confirmation from the seller website, so then they can forward this ticket to the seller website through the issue API, and then the seller NP can revert on it, and they can give the resolution to the buyer NP, and the buyer NP can pass it to the buyers, to their buyers. So this is the flow of issue in Node.js. So here you can see there are two nodes on network, which is buyer app and seller app. Now the buyer app has received one ticket from his customer, which is Manoj, and on their CR app. So you can see here the issue reached on the Paytm buyer app. Now the Paytm buyer app has received that ticket, and if they are able, so they can use the reply button. I will show you. In manage ticket option, we have that. So I'm opting a previous ticket on that. So if the buyer app is able to give the resolution to that customer, so they can use the reply button and they can give the resolution to the buyer. In case the buyer app wants some information, they can forward this ticket to the Magic Pin seller app. Now the Magic Pin seller app can check that ticket, and they can give the resolution to the buyer NP. Then buyer NP can pass it to the buyers. So I will show you here. So I'm raising one ticket on buyer NP. This is the buyer NP. Buyer app, which is India Stack buyer app. So like this is the ticket order, and I'm raising missing items subject. So here you can see the ticket has been raised on buyer app CRM. Now I'm going to the buyer app account where the buyer app has received that ticket. So this is the buyer app account of ticket panel. So here you can see the ticket has been raised, and I'm just into that ticket. Yeah, so this ticket has been opened by the buyer app. You can see here we have captured all the data like order ID, estimated delivery date and time, created date and time, and order item ID, shipment ID, what was the product, and comment log, alternate order ID, which is network order ID, alternate ticket ID, order tab. From here, I can go to the order tab directly, and the logs and the attachment. So here there are four tabs, which is reply button and add notes. Add notes is for your internal use of purpose, and forward button if I want to forward this ticket to the any concerned person, so that I can forward that ticket. And push item button is for the forwarding this ticket to the seller NP. So once I clicked on push item button, the counterparty of seller NP is auto populated here, and we have canned responser, that is the uh, automated macros. Once I clicked on this, so I have two templates which I have added in my account. So like customer refund, buyer app refund. So I am clicking on that. So the canned response is automated macros will be auto populated here. That means the buyer app has added their comments. Customer wants refund for this order. Please update as soon as possible. So I am forwarding this ticket to the seller NP side with attachment.
So is it right to assume that it only goes to the IGM process only if the buyer app is not able to resolve it?
So if the buyer and yeah,
Yeah, go ahead, Sachin.
yeah. So if the buyer NP is not able to resolve that ticket, then they can connect to the seller NP. If if they are able, then they can give the resolution to the customers directly.
Is that right to say that IGM only comes in picture if buyer app is not able to resolve it?
Yeah, you
Yes,
can
yes.
say that.
Okay. And what if, let's say, in the buyer app knows that there is a logistic related issue, right? So does the IGM provide a way for the buyer app to directly talk to the logistic provider, or it has to go through the seller NP only?
So logistic is handled by the seller NP. So the seller NP can connect with their logistic partner.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
that is the cascaded flow. So if you want, I can show it here. So
okay.
yeah, we have that flow, cascaded flow. So I'm just forwarding this ticket to the seller NP side. Yeah, I have
Well, your
forward.
question is valid. As a NP, you cannot buyer NP cannot directly contact logistics provider, because logistics provider is the transaction of logistics provider is with the seller NP, not with the buyer NP in non-network flow.
Yeah.
I
So
see. So the
then, so the
cascading thing.
cascade has to fill in that it has to go from buyer NP to seller NP, of retail seller NP, and retail seller NP to logistics seller NP.
Got it. Because seller and logistic are the party to the transaction.
Yes,
Got it.
yes, yes.
Thank you.
So now I'm moving to the seller NP account. So this is the seller NP and manage tickets. We have captured that ticket. So this is the ticket which the seller NP has received from the buyer NP side. So this is the buyer comment and this is the buyer app comment. So we have captured that. Now the same dashboard is given to the seller NP also. You can see here all the details are captured by the seller NP. And also we have that if now the seller app wants to assign this ticket, or buyer NP wants to assign this ticket to any group, to any agent, then they can assign. It will be auto assigning and with the priorities. So here I'm giving the resolution to the buyer NP. And
So this
also
IGM
one,
is sort of like a protocol where, like, Plotch is one of the parties, but the seller can also have other party who can be having a different dashboard or something like that. But the payload structure is same, sort of.
yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
yeah. The
okay?
issue payload structure will be same for all the NPs.
Okay. And Plotch is a party to this protocol. Is that in the IGM protocol?
Yeah, we have implemented the same payload with us, which we have received from the ONDC network.
Got it. Got it.
So now I'm moving to the reply button and giving to the refund. That means I am giving the reward to the buyer NP that you can proceed for the refund. So we have can respond. You can see here refund. So this is the auto populated here. You can proceed for the refund. So I'm closing this ticket from the seller NP side. Yeah. So the status has been updated. Now moving to the buyer NP account. This is the buyer NP account. It will take 1 minute or 10 to 20 seconds to fetch it.
The decision of refund or anything for that matter is lying with the seller, right? Is that right to say?
Yeah, so in case the seller NP wants to forward this ticket to the seller, so they
Mhm.
can click on the forward button and they can add their email ID and comment, and they can give the access to concerned person, which is read only or read plus comment. If you want, I can show you. Here I am adding my email ID, giving That's
So
something.
my question was coming toward, let's say in platform commerce, right? It's mostly the decision of buyer. Let's keep it as customer facing apps, right? Who
Mhm.
essentially see, okay, like to maintain customer satisfaction, I will give the refund or whatever, right? So here, the decision is lying with the seller who might or might not give the refund.
Uh, so
Uh,
y- so here the refund, if you see, it's a buyer app first of all, because buyer app will only make the payment once the product is delivered and plus return window is closed. Okay, within that period, if a customer is raising a concern and if a buyer app thinks it's a valid, then they can make a refund of that. It is the
I see.
buyer app. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we can check the comment in bar and the account. Yeah. So you can see here the comment is here. You can proceed for the refund. Thank you. Now I am giving same to the customer that you can receive that refund. You will get the refund for this order in 2 to 3 working days. Thank you. So I have closed this ticket from the buyer and pay side. Now we can see that ticket in buyer. In accounts, we have raised ticket. So you can see this is the ticket which I have created now. The comment has been uploaded that you will get the refund for this order in 2 to 3 working days. Thank you. So this is the whole flow of IGM. Yeah.
Uh, Thanks, Sachin. Any questions on IGM? All right. So quickly moving to our last demo of this evening. So yeah,
So, does this IGM flow applicable for buyer app to seller app dispute also? Like for this example, which we have discussed. So,
Yes, yes.
buyer app has refunded to buyer, but like buyer app and seller app is in dispute. Like they said that we are not in this agreement. So, you have refunded to buyer, but we don't agree with these terms. So, does this dispute also go through this IGM flow, or it's
Yeah, so basically that's a valid question. All the disputes, all the ticketing CRM has to flow through IGM. That's a mandate from ONDC. Whether it's from buyer app to seller app to buyer app, whether it's related to orders, whether it's related to payments, whether it's related to logistics, whatever you have to resolve, you have to resolve using IGM. That's basically, and no email or WhatsApp based or phone based, resolution. If done otherwise, will not be, will not be, will not, the contract will not honor that. So if you have to show evidences, only IGM based evidences you can show.
so does that means now like the dispute has happened between buyer app and seller app? So seller app will raise the issue to grievance or like how it will be?
So basically, uh, so let's say, we can take any case. Let's say payment was, you know uh, was underpaid to me as a seller, as a seller app, right? So we have not shown that yet on the RSF framework, but every payment will also have an option to raise dispute via IGM. So one way is that you basically do underpayment, overpayment request to buyer app, but buyer app may say, I paid you what I thought was the right amount. So then the only thing is to basically make it as a grievance. Then basically you have to do a IGM grievance, which basically then you have to raise that seller app NP will raise the IGM grievance to buyer NP that I have been underpaid, resolve this. Now in IGM framework, it's a 4-layer level of, you know, uh, resolution mechanism that ONDC has given. The first thing is that is a level 1, is basically yours is a issue. So issue is that if you can let's say I basically I was requesting a payment, I did not get a payment, so it's an issue. If they don't agree, then it becomes a dispute. Now dispute has to be handled uh, with the what do you call the officers, which are grievance officers, your grievance redressal officers, which basically you have to appoint as a buyer and pays help. They both need to resolve the dispute. If they cannot resolve the dispute, then it goes into level 3, which is a ODR, online dispute resolution mechanism, where some third parties, some ODR companies are there, who then basically looks at your evidences. Now, in that, the IGM evidences has to be there, that I raised this ticket, this is the contract, this is the unconfirmed payload, this is the settlement terms that I had. And then ODR can basically negotiate a deal or something like that. And the fourth is, of course, the court, which you can go to. So these are the 4 levels you can escalate your issue. Yeah, I don't know if I was able to answer, but
So
maybe a
this
longer one.
ODR, I mean, when we raise the dispute to ODR, it will be off the network or it will be on
Everything is off, then it's off the network. So after your issue, the dispute, ODR and court is not through APIs.
Okay.
So your dispute is probably a phone, basically, or email. The grievance redressal officers will talk to each other. ODR will, then there's a third party coming in, and then court is basically again third party coming in.
Okay, thanks for answer, Manish.
Yeah, also we have provision to create a internal ticket if you want to connect a counterparty NPs. So here we have provision that raise new ticket option. You need to click on instance subject. What was the you need to select any subject, alternate order ID, which is network order ID, and you can write your content. And after that, the ticket has been raised, and you can then again you can forward this ticket to the counterparty, whether it is seller NP or buyer NP. The flow will remain same, which is issue on issue on issue status. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And in the next we have in our Nodex features, which is ONDC certified multi-channels. Our IGM can receive the tickets from the web app, mobile app, or emails. And network ticket, you can create tickets from also you can receive the tickets from networks and from multiple buyer apps. And you can easily manage the tickets like priority wise agent assignments and ticket status using simple user friendly UI. And we have automate your ticketing workflows by assigning tickets to agents or group um, by priority base, whether it is high priority, low priority, and medium priority. Also, we have reports. You can download the SLA reports with subject wise, SLA time wise, or group wise. And we have IGM in access that you can give the access to your user group or agents from the admin account. And that is the last but not yeah. So this is the canned response automated macros which I have showed you in demo. So you can add more templates and you can edit your uh, existing templates for the automated macros to forward this ticket or revert on that ticket. Yeah.
All right.
So I'm going to the NP to show the analytics of report. Just a minute. In analytics, we have ticket analysis. You can see here. Once I clicked on that, yeah. So you can see here the agent name and ticket which I have assigned SLAs and resolution percentage, number of ticket in progress, and this is the data of open tickets agent wise. You can download that ticket data in Excel format, CSV format, and print that chart. So we have that data analytics part, closed ticket, open ticket agent wise, and open ticket subject wise, open ticket user wise, age wise. So we have that data all kind of analytics report for the IGM. Yes, sir.
All right.
This
Thanks,
dashboard is
Sachin.
for me. Is this for seller or?
It's for both seller app, buyer app, both.
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
we have analytics reports for both NPs.
Yeah. So, Vinod, we can quickly move, at the interest of the time, move to our Freshdesk via IGM demo.
I think we can, Tarun,
Yeah.
I mean, given the interest of time, when we almost at the
Yeah. Maybe we
50 minutes, should
can,
we just
yeah,
open for the floor for the questions and maybe
yeah,
do the Freshdesk demos maybe in the some other time?
sure, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone has any question? I don't know, you might be tired sitting here 3-4 hours, but we thought, we'll give you a more comprehensive, overview of ONDC ecosystem and the things that might be useful for you if you're part of ONDC. Any other questions? I know I think some questions have been already been
Hi,
asked and
hi,
answered.
Manoj. I have a question.
Yeah.
So basically, I have seen buyer apps which operate on multiple categories, let's say grocery, fashion, and stuff like that. So why can't I just create one cart and just check out? I would have to, create multiple carts. Is that a ONDC
No,
problem or is that
basically it is not a ONDC requirement. We actually in Plotch Buyer Apps we support multiple item carts from multiple vendors. So it is multiple categories.
is there
But
any
some
buyer
buyer
app which
apps.
is doing that? Just
Hmm?
doing that like multiple categories, one cart.
Yeah, yes. People are doing that. We Plotch Buyer Apps definitely.
Which are those Plotch buyer apps? I mean, if I can try that. That's
You can go to any of the Misho buyer apps. What we will do is we'll share the links of the Plotch buyer apps in the the email that we share, because we will share the demo of the YouTube link of the demo recorded. We'll also share the where you can go.
got it. And just one more thing. So basically, a seller, right? Let's say if a seller registers with a particular MSN,
Hmm.
uh, is there any provision that, like, for example, if he that seller can go somewhere else and register again multiple times? So is that
Deduplication. So your question is about deduplication of seller,
correct? Correct,
right?
correct.
So deduplication of seller is an active topic right now. I think ONDC is trying to find a solution that every seller should have a unique ID and they should be only associated with only one seller app.
And also on the buyer side, I am sure buyer duplication does not have much cost implication, but is there any identification for buyer level to understand buyer behavior across networks? Let's say if I take mobility network, fintech, food network, so can there be something network level
See, I'll tell
analysis
you
which
broadly, if you look at most of the buyer apps are using phone number as a identifier.
correct?
So the deduplication of a buyer is actually much easier in the buyer side, because usually the phone number which people use to log in kind of stuff. Now, how to use but network data is the data is owned by the buyer NP. It is not the network data. So that's
Okay.
something I wanted to clarify, that it is not that you can get all the buyer NP data from somewhere as a network data and do some analysis on that, because ultimately it's the buyer NP. Even if the buyer NP using Plotch as a technology service provider, that data is not ours. It's basically NP's data.
Got it. Got it. Sure. Thanks a lot.
Hi, Manoj.
Hi.
We want to create a seller app for home services. Is the category live?
Not yet live. Not yet live.
Can we work on it if we contract it?
You can connect to ONDC and see if, because they usually are pretty open to opening categories if
Okay.
someone is
But we
interested.
can use your seller app to create this
Yes,
thing, right?
yes. That's not a challenge. But the category
Okay.
is still not open. The services category is still not open.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Any other question from
Many,
anyone?
many,
Yeah.
many times you mentioned 1.1, 1.2 version. So this 1.2 version, is there a right place to go and read about the version changes and all that? Is there any point?
There is a document which basically is a 500-page document. Which
Mhm.
basically has a lot of features, upgrade, data, payload, and so. But I don't think it's a public document.
Okay.
I think it's usually is for NPs. If you're part of the network, can get access to it.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. I think I think I don't want to take a lot more of your time, but hopefully the session was useful for all of you. And we will of course keep doing these sessions, in future also. And of course, we'll share the recordings and the decks that were presented to you in the through the channel and through which you might have heard about us, either LinkedIn or email or WhatsApp community that we have. Do share, do become part of our WhatsApp community because we do keep it very, we update a lot of content there, so it might be useful for you to be part of a WhatsApp community. And with that, I want to thank you all and have a great weekend. And we look forward to working with you in future. Yeah, thank you and goodbye.